ريت برشا ديش بعث لي نلقاه، بعث لي قال لي: "واه صاحبي التونسي أنت في الكيك حاجتي باش نكون نلعب معاه ساب تو ساب باش نكمل الترقة." بلي هذا موضوع يحكي لي في سب ورمه. سكرت أنا. وريتني سكيلة سكيل وريت راني ما عنديش راني لا ما أكلت بربيش وواحد ما نفهم شي راني أنا، أما هكاكا بشوي بشوي نتبع اللي طحت بيهم هذانا فاهم. ما عنديش يا ودي لا عندي تبربيش لا عندي كذا بهيم طول زاد، نعرف كان نسب العباد في الRP كذا
KJ mentioned they are very good in the competition right now, and they're aiming for yet another treble, if it's even possible to consider how many trebles Bayern's already won. If they get to the Champions League final, it will be May 30th. Canada plays in Edmonton on June 1st, which rules him out of that game. He's 100%. Not going to go transatlantic and then play at Commonwealth Stadium, which means he'll have just over a week, maybe 10 days to get ready. Is that enough time to go ahead and get yourself physically and emotionally ready as the captain of the team in a home World
Cup? He'll be there. He'll play if he's fit. If he's played in a Champions League final, he'll play Montreal for, can run on the field and play 45, 60 minutes, clap off and get the, we'll see at the World Cup with my armband on. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think he'll be there. Yeah. But just let's hope he doesn't have any more setbacks. But it'd be interesting to see. I think his health comes down to the balance of the squad when you name the 26. Like this time, they've already got Nico Segura, Alistair Johnston, Richie Laurier.
Well, that's the next thing I'd ask you about.
Another left back. Do you know what I mean? I don't think they do.
Let's look at the right back now. Alistair Johnston, coming off of hamstring surgery. Even I, speaking to him last week, he understands that the amount of work that he had. I did the numbers, and you're the numbers guy, KJ, but I crunched them myself. In the 3 seasons leading up to him tearing his hamstring, he had played almost 44 games a season. And just given all the workload that he had with CF Montreal and then the World Cup and then going to Celtic and really becoming an established piece on that team, if he's healthy, does he start, or has Nico Segura showed us enough? They are different players in that position. Yeah. Has he showed us enough that it makes a more difficult choice for Jesse Marsh?
He has made it a very difficult choice, but it's Alistair Johnston every time for me. I sat down with him too, and we talked about it. We went through the numbers, and our last conversation was in the Gold Cup, when he came back from his wedding and his honeymoon, and he came to play in the Gold Cup, and we talked about the numbers and the amount of matches he played, and to be honest, it was too many. You know, remember, he actually missed seasons, off seasons, because he just went straight from MLS to play in Europe, and he told me at that moment that yes, being away from the game has allowed him to be more appreciative and understanding. But he's relaxed. But he's also articulate and intelligent enough to know that he believes he will be better on June 12th. He would not have told us that. If he'd have played 50 games for Celtic and they'd won a league title and he come here and we'd asked him about the fatigue level and how many games he played, he'd be, oh, fine. But the facts are the facts. He said it. I think if he's 100% ready, we're going to see a better Alistair Johnston. One of the better players at the World Cup last time for Canada, by the way. Again, I think we'll see a better version of him.
But it's not bad to have Nico Segura, though, as his understudy.
That's what Canada have done, Matthew. That's what we're here tonight. It's about depth. It's about raising the level of the depth, right? The studio show earlier said, are they better now? I've spoken to Canadians who had the blessing of being with Atiba in Qatar, and some of those Canadians are in Qatar now. The big thing they tell me when they're still with the team is that now the strength of the depth of the team, number 14, 15, 16 on your squad, are stronger now than they were 4 years ago.
I don't think we're going to see a formation change for Jesse Marsh, so it's going to be 4-4-2. If we're looking at that midfield, Ali Ahmed in left wing, if he's healthy, he's
يعمل له ميوت يعمل له ميوت
Ismail Kone, who is set to start tonight, and Tejan Buchanan, is that the midfield?
I think it probably is. The one thing I would say is that you could play Richie Larea there as well.
Absolutely.
And that's where you make that decision. You're the one who asked him about Ali Ahmed in a press conference, and he said, is he locked into that spot? And he played the card where he said, oh no, we're going to see. He said yes. He confirmed. Jesse Marsh confirmed that Ali Ahmed is in that spot for a reason. Now the roles are that Ali will play probably 60 minutes and go out there and press. So I think it's probably going to be that's going to be the case. Now, Eustáquio has been an enormous miss. Yes. But I don't think we should worry too much about Eustáquio, because every single time that he's been missing and he's come back, he's been the best player. you think about the game here in October, you think about the game in Romania. When he comes back, he's been their best player, and I think they need a technician, someone I talked about tone setters. This is the other one for me, a true tone setter in the team who can put the foot on the ball, just calm it down a little bit, keep the ball, and him and Kone work fabulous together, I think.
Well, let's go up top. Jonathan David plays very different for Canada. He does a lot more like things that he does for his club team in Juventus, and he did when he was with Lille. Is that a detriment at all? I think the one thing the public has to understand is Jesse Marsh says if there is one player that is so integral to everything he does, it's Jonathan David. Because he's willing to track back, win the balls, press, counter-press. So who then is the best fit for him beside him? Is it Kyle Larin in the form that he has shown right now in Southampton? Is it Tani Oluwaseyi, although he's played inconsistently for Villarreal? Where are they right now in attack? Because the fact of the matter is, if they're aiming to win the group, they have to score goals. We know that Jonathan David can score goals, but he needs someone in support as well.
Yeah, I thought he had an encouraging game on Saturday. We're showing the penalties. Aside from the penalties, I thought he had an encouraging match. I thought he had a lot more involvement in the game, came a little bit deeper. I'm reminded by what Jesse Marsh told me in an interview last Monday when we opened this camp about Jonathan David. He said to me that he thinks he's had an excellent season at Juventus. Now, we could get into the semantics about whether that really is the right word, But he then went on to say that this is his position for him in this because he gets on the ball and he said to me, quote, Johnny feels hungry and then he starts to feel full when he gets the ball, rather than just being in a position as a number 9 that's waiting for the service. So what does that mean, Matthew? You know what it means, is that they want him to be the player that can get the ball a lot more and not be in that final third. So answer your question, I sat down with Jonathan David and Kyle Aaron for an interview on One Soccer this week. We had 30 minutes together. I can't really speak enough about how much respect the two of them have for each other. You know,
yes.
I had my notebook there and we were going through all the games we played together. They played 33 international games together and they've scored 25 goals between them in 33 games where they've started. That's a really impressive number. And as we went through it, their memory and recall is outstanding.
Yeah, there's chemistry between them.
There's real chemistry there. And Laren's in terrific form. Now, Taniolo O'Shea is also very possible can be playing in that first game. But I'm just telling the viewers what I learned, and you can see the respect that they had for each other. And Jonathan David comes alive when he wants to boost up Kyle Laren. He wants to really speak, and you can see they share the same agent too, that you can see that they have a lot in common. And if Kyle Laren, who goes back this week to play in a big FA Cup against Arsenal,
quarterfinal against Arsenal,
if he could keep scoring goals at St Mary's and find a way to get them into the Premier League, I think it's going to be very hard for Jonathan David to hear from his gaffer that we're not going to start the one that you want to start next to us on June 12th. Do you agree?
Jonathan David is Canada's all-time leading goal scorer. Kyle Laren is number 2. Should we be waiting for Promise David? Because the fact is, if he ruptured a tendon in his hip that connects to his quad. He's been posting on social media how much he has been rehabbing. The reason I underscore Promise David is because he has been scoring goals and maybe the most effective goal scorer with his club, with Union Saint-Gilloise, of any of Canada's strikers. If he's going to come in, he's going to be that 26th guy. That could also be Junior Hoylett. That could be a Jonathan Osorio.
Right.
How should Jesse Marsh kind of weigh that? And he might only be getting with the size and strength of Promise David if he is going to rehab, and he does. And again, everything we've heard, it is a long, long shot. Should he hold on? Should he wait for Promise David, knowing that he might be able to put him on in a situation, knowing that big man will love to get himself in front of the net and score?
Here's what he told me. He believes that when he goes into the camp opening on May the 18th in Carolina, even though not every player will be there, in his mind, he'll have 27 players. And what that means is he doesn't want to invite, he's going to invite more, but he doesn't want to have these players come into that camp hoping and trying and getting that last moment to get over the line. He's going to be straight and honest and go, if you're number 30, I'm going to tell you, you're probably not going to make it. And the reason why he said 27 is because he said, I want to give Promise David every last opportunity. Now, you said it, it's a long shot. We may get to May 18th by then, and they may say, he's not coming, it's over, and then it's 26. Then it's the 26 players are told, we won't know them, but they'll tell them that you are the players going to the World Cup, and we're going to figure this out during the camp unless something changes. So to answer your question, he has earned the right, he's got enough collateral in the bank of what he's done, not just for Jesse Marsh, but with his teammates, and with the nation, by the way, who are watching. He's like the people's champion, Matthew.
Oh,
they love him.
You almost want him to be on the World Cup stage with his energy, not only the goal scoring, but just the personality, the effervescence.
Feels so bad for him.
Oh yeah, I mean, you and I have been talking to Promise David. He wanted this so badly. But let's wrap this up by looking around it. You talked about it, the depth.
Yeah.
Guys like Marcelo Flores and Ralph Priso, Liam Miller. Who do we think could be an effective piece off the bench? I'm looking at Mathieu Choinière. And when you look at really the last 10, 12 internationals for Canada, who comes off the bench, first or second? It's Mathieu Choinière.
Right.
When you look at an entire squad full of players who have been succeeding in Europe, Choinière was in Switzerland with Grasshoppers. They were going through a relegation fight. He admitted that it wasn't the atmosphere that he expected. But the fact is, he's come back to MLS with LAFC. We saw him score 2 goals before this international window, 2 long-range strikes. Canada and Jesse Marsh see him as the set-piece specialist. I think he could be absolutely an effective player off the bench in certain situations. But is there someone that you're looking at in that depth piece for Canada that could be an effective guy off the bench for Jesse Marsh?
Yeah, I think there's a number of those players, you know, whether it's Ali Ahmed or Richie Laryea, which one doesn't get to start is another one. You know, you think about a Nico Segura, but for me, Saliba, I wanted to really watch him closely tonight because I think both him and Choinière will be disappointed in the way that they played on Saturday. It didn't necessarily dictate the tone of that. And Saliba is a player where you think, okay, where's his role going to be if Eustáquio and Kone are going to start games? Well, if you're winning a game in a World Cup and you're playing against top teams with 3 midfielders, that's when you go, okay, 10 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go. We're going to put in another midfielder and see this out. And why is that important? Because that's not what Jesse Marsch did in the Gold Cup. And he said he learned from that. Remember in the Gold Cup when Buchanan got hurt and Schaffelberg got sent off, and they just kept going, guns are blazing, and Saliba they didn't get that player on the field to dictate that possession in midfield. So I think Saliba, someone like that. But your point of emphasis is correct to highlight these players who come on, because they have to be difference makers. Call them whatever you want, substitutes, replacements. Some managers call them finishers.
Yep.
They have to be something. They can't just be players who go out there and finish and see it out. They have to make a difference on the pitch.
What did we learn? I'm going to fit this in because you brought up that Guatemala game. You and I were both there in Minneapolis, and it was frankly quite disappointing because of just what the quality we had seen Canada evolve into under Jesse Marsch, especially after Copa America.
Yeah.
What are some of the decisions in a knockout game like that? Again, it's very different, and not to be disparaging of the Gold Cup. It's just a different level of expectation and pressure and quality between a North American and Caribbean continental tournament and the biggest tournament on the planet. When you look at those games, those important moments, whether it's a knockout round or not, Canada still has to get to a knockout round of a World Cup, but what are the lessons that they should take away from their last tournament?
Well, I don't think they handled adversity very well.
I agree.
And I think Jesse Marsch agreed with that. In fact, going into that tournament, I asked him, have you had enough of it? And he said, quite frankly, no. We did not expect them to get adversity against Curacao and Guatemala, with all due respect, did we? But they did, right? They got a lot of adversity, and I don't think they handled it very well. And I thought that was what was interesting about this game on Saturday. They go down 2-0. I talked to Jesse Marsch, and I talked to him a little bit about boxing and tier 1 knockdowns and tier 2 knockdowns, and how do you recover from that? When you get knocked or you get punched in the face, how are you getting back up? And that's what they call it in boxing. You get an early punch in the face like they did against Mexico, and they actually played well in the game, but they never looked like winning the game, right? In the semi-final last March, that was a tier 1 knockout.
Yes.
You are knocked out in the first minute and you are done, right? You think about the Curacao game, that's a tier 2 knockout, a 94th minute equalizer. The Guatemala game, right? They were shook up at 10 men, another tier 2 knockdown, and they didn't recover. And they haven't actually had a lot of time behind. That was only the 7th time in 28 games they've been behind in Jesse Marsch. It was only the 3rd time they've been down at half-time, Matthew. That's incredible stats. So I think what they learned is that they've got to find a way at some point in the World Cup to go, we will be behind. How do we break teams down who are winning, and how do we show and come alive in the face of adversity? We saw a little bit. They got a little bit lucky with the penalties, but we saw a little bit against Iceland.
Adversity, though, it can't be self-induced, because you look at that Guatemala game and what happened with Jacob Schaffelberg. You look at certainly Ali Ahmed's red card here against Ecuador, the red card that Ismael Kone got against Venezuela,
Right.
the red card that Tejan Buchanan got against Iceland. Jesse Marsch said this week he didn't think those were red cards, but he can't leave those decisions in the referee's hand come the World Cup.
Fair.
So much about this squad is togetherness, a kind of intensity, a loyalty among them. But you have to have a mindset shift when you get to a World Cup, because irrespective of how much this team gets up to play for each other, if you leave a decision like that in a referee's hands, and we always debate what referees do, any major tournament, but especially a World Cup that's always under the microscope, but as a host nation, if you have a situation like you had against Iceland, and against a much better opponent in a World Cup situation, when you've just come back, teams can give you a backbreaker, and they will absolutely take advantage, as we saw Bosnia and Herzegovina do today. So what are we looking for in that mentality shift for Canada? Jesse Marsch, as we've already discussed, has talked about normalizing, relaxing. He's really leaning into all of these little communication games that he does with his players to make sure that they are in sync, that they're talking to each other, that they're always keeping an emotional level. But how much more work does this team have to do? Is it a concern, all these red cards?
It's not a concern for me. I would be fascinated to hear from the players on the panel about this. I never played the game. I can only tell people what I've learned from talking to the players and the coaches. I think each incident is very isolated and they're not really connected. But I do think there is an element to the fact that in Copa America, where the collective emotional intelligence, I thought, was off the charts, in fact, borderline brilliant, where they never allowed a South American team to get in their head and lose their cool. They then went into the knockout stages of the Gold Cup, fueled by the USA game, and Jesse Marsch and the furore and the stories going, we don't want to be bullied by these teams. And maybe it's gone a little bit further that way. But let's talk solution based, okay? How can you tell them not to do what Ali Ahmed did? That was just a misplacement, the ball going in the air and you're going and looking. How can you tell him not to do what Ismail Kone did? Yeah, I think they're technique things, but I don't think they're behavioral mentality things. Tajon Buchanan thing comes from an element where that is what Tajon Buchanan is. Tajon Buchanan has been through so much adversity in his life, and if we want Tajon Buchanan to be winning World Cup games for us, that's what Tajon Buchanan is. I don't want to tell Tajon Buchanan you need to calm down. I want that Tajon Buchanan, maybe just not the elbow.
Well, thank you for joining us for our podcast here, James. It's been lovely, but we'll send it back to you as hopefully we get closer to kickoff.
Yes, that was Rain Delay with Christian Jack and Matthew Shinetti, available wherever you find your favorite podcasts. It's starting to feel like Trade Center, guys, in my other job, which is 9 hours. And I have bad news for you guys. You may have figured it out by looking at the lower corner of the screen. The 8:15 rain delay has now been pushed to 9 o'clock for kickoff between Canada and Tunisia as the thunderstorms linger around downtown Toronto. So they believe they'll be able to go at 9 o'clock, but that's where we are at right now. Fascinating discussion with those guys. And it's rare in television where we usually have 3 minutes and have to go to commercial break that you get time like this. And, you know, the discussion on Bombito, I think the big question mark looming over Canada with all this optimism now about the group and the possibility of winning the group is, you know, what is the likelihood at this point that Bombito and Davies and Johnston and some of the guys with the minor injuries, Eustachio, can all be healthy and fit in time for June 12th. You'd hope that's the case, ideal scenario, but that's tough. And Atiba went through this. Like, tell us about your road up to Qatar, where you had a bunch of injuries and didn't feel you were necessarily ready the way you would have liked to be ready.
It was very hard for me. Mentally, I suffered a lot. You know, I had a problem with my ankle. I had bone edema, and
what is that? It's
just like bleeding in the bone. Okay. It's a difficult one to really heal because the bone is difficult when you have the blood in there. So I wasn't able to really put too much load on it. So I had to do a lot of the work in a swimming pool. So I'm like running in the swimming pool with the floater to keep me up, you know. And it was a long injury, but you know, you need to give yourself that time to get fit, right?
Yeah.
And
you didn't have it.
It's not easy, yes, because time is ticking.
Did you train every day when you joined up with the squad, with the team, prior to that first match against Belgium?
It was probably my last 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, where I started training more. But I would be like 2 days of training, and then I had to come out.
Did you even get any club? Did you get any club matches?
I was
get a game and a half. That was what I had. So wasn't much time. I had, you know, the guys come from the national team. The physios came. Greg Bay and
جوزيه في
نفس
بالقوية
my fitness was great, you know, but just to have that communication and really give me that support, which helped a lot. But in my head, I was like, this is hard because I'm getting so close to the first game of the World Cup, and I'm not getting any matches. I'm not playing any matches, and you want to go into a World Cup, as I said earlier, you want to have those games behind you, you know.
And you toughed it out and did well, but in your mind, truly, you didn't feel ready the way
that's probably the worst I ever felt going into any kind of tournament or the start of a season. I didn't feel like I had that match fitness.
So say Bombito, for instance, who you guys have said on this panel might be Canada's most important player going into the World Cup. What would you feel comfortable with? It doesn't look like he's going to get a lot of club matches in, but does he need 3, 4, and then the 2 friendlies? What do you think is a comfortable thing?
Get him in the pool. Yeah, exactly. I'll show him what to do in the waters. But yeah, you need to have a couple games where you're really feeling good. Don't forget, I was at the age of 40 going into that World Cup, so a lot different for me.
Right.
Moise is a young guy. He's fit. He's got his speed that he could rely on as well. But you need to have those matches where you really feel good going into a game. So I would say the numbers around 2 or 3 games of like solid matches, probably 90-minute games if you can. I know it would be hard, but yeah, the more minutes.
I mean, their hope and promise David can get in some at the very end too, but it's going to be tight. Alistair's hoping to play again soon, but it's going to be a little tight and not ideal for all of those players who could be critical for Canada. Again, we're down to 41 minutes and counting until the kickoff. There are all the fans huddled in the concourse of the renovated BMO Field awaiting this rain delay.
جوزيف
We're supposed to get going at 7:45 p.m. Eastern time. Look like it'll be about an hour and 15 minutes. But we'll stay with you and get you set for
بسكريت لهي
Canada
بالحديث انا
and
باش نهبط
Tunisia.
ديريكت انا باش نجويني نهبط في السبيطار تونجي نعطيه مشطه ونطيحه ونهزو بسكريت ونقط
ليه مش تو تنقول لك تعالي الوقت مناسب عندك.
The World Cup is coming to Canada.
They have a dream to fulfill.
ارجع استنى
This is the moment we've all been waiting for.
جد يطبوا الفلوس ولا ما يطبوش؟
It's going down right now.
Coop it up with 3 months of TSM for just $49.99.
Big time.
For a courtside seat to the next generation of stars. From Conference Championship Week to every round of March Madness, college basketball lives here.
What a finish.
Get 3 months of TSN for $49.99. Offer ends April 6th. Visit tsn.ca/subscribe.
It's almost time. Not for an introduction, but a reunion. A celebration. A time to remember. And to make new
خليتهم على
memories.
الحديدة
Time for the best in the world to play the best golf of their lives. It's almost time for the Masters on TSN. Presented by Mercedes-Benz and the all-new electric CLA.
TSN is the exclusive home of Formula One in Canada.
This season is set to be one of the fastest
اطلع لا متساويك
With every race, all season long.
This championship battle is being reset.
And with TSN Plus, go that extra mile with onboard cameras, hit-link chip, and more.
Who will be champion of the world?
F1 lives on TSN and TSN Plus. Subscribe now. Overdrive is Canada's most insightful.
Was he known as a top 10 player in the league?
Unexpected.
What the hell are these guys talking about?
And authentic sports talk show.
Should they make this trade?
With the best in the business. But it's also...
This guy is texting me going, are you wearing a karate outfit? That's what O says to me. And I goes, you look like Mr. Miyagi. Noodles, the whole show I've been looking for you to look to the left and just go, Tara!
You're going to want to hear this. Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
This is the moment you waited all week for. It's Friday night. Whether you're at home or out on the town, it all starts here.
No, he did it!
The weekend starts here with NLL Friday night on TSN.
Welcome to the greatest show on earth. And it is again, Lamine Yamal. Sensational from Mbappe. Deadly efficiency. What a finish. There's a stupendous goal.
La Liga, every game, all season.
Big argument that he is the best player on the planet.
On TSN Plus.
As we continue to wait out the rain delay, this the scene in Sarajevo. The streets absolutely jammed as Bosnia-Herzegovina upsets Italy, knocks Italy out of the World Cup, and they will be coming to Canada to open their World Cup June 12th in Toronto against the Canadians. What a scene. If you've been flicking around and just joining us, we're waiting out a weather delay in Toronto before Canada and Tunisia. It's looking like the kickoff will be about 9 o'clock Eastern time. We'll stay with you until then. We were talking about the Canadian players. Far too many injuries right now, and Sam Adekugbe is another one trying to make it back for the World Cup, and he would help Canada. Back in February of 2023, he was living his dream, not only a key player for Canada, but playing professional in Turkey. And that's when everything changed in a moment. Turkey was struck with a major earthquake, and Sam found himself in the middle of a natural disaster. Hasn't talked about it really until he sat down with our Rick Westhead in this TSN original, In the Blink of an Eye.
I'm in Los Angeles, just rehabbing my Achilles that I ruptured in mid-June.
Anakubi is down in a heap of pain. Not a good sign.
What's that look like?
It looks like a long time, about 9 months. It's one of the toughest injuries that any athlete can have.
Sam Adakubi is in a race against time, a race against his own body. As he pushes uphill towards rehabilitating his torn Achilles in time to make Canada's World Cup roster.
I know. 2 more sets.
But given the events of the last 3 years, Sam is no stranger to pain.
I definitely have like a massive weight on my shoulders. The last 3 years has definitely been the most challenging years of my life.
The state of emergency has been declared in Turkey.
7.8 magnitude quake.
More than 42,000 people are now confirmed to have been killed.
Turkey's deadliest earthquake.
Makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up just thinking about it.
It's affected my relationship with my family. It's affected my relationship with my girlfriend. Sometimes it feels too much.
Among the missing is an international soccer player, Christian Atsu.
I think when you go through what someone like Sam goes through, doubt creeps in, and certainly fear.
Again, in the blink of an eye, everything can change.
Oh my God.
Adakubi! It's Sam Adakubi!
Sam loves football. You know, that's how he lives and breathes. If he's not playing, he's reading it. If he's not reading it, he's watching it.
Sam was born in London, England, to parents of Nigerian heritage. The family immigrated to Calgary in 2005. Soccer was in their blood, and the Vancouver Whitecaps left back couldn't get enough.
He had a hunger for the game, and that's one thing that caught my wife and I's attention.
Me and my brother would always play by ourselves during the weekends. We'd play in school at recess. I just couldn't put a ball down.
His first spells was when he was at the Whitecaps and he would get sent on these training stints. We trained with Liverpool in the early days. Rangers was another.
In Europe, he was in England, then Sweden, then Norway, and then Turkey.
Turkey at the time was a top 10 league in the world. Everything had been good, but it had been time to level up, and I think that's what Turkey brought him.
Sam's career highlight came in 2022, when he earned the opportunity to represent Canada on a global stage at the World Cup in Qatar, which became a viral moment for his mother, Dee.
My son is in the World Cup! My son is in the World Cup! Yeah, baby! Thank you, Jesus! I was like, oh my God, that's my son! That's my son! That's my son! When I saw Sam playing at the World Cup, I felt it was one of the proudest moments of my life. You can hear the commentators talking about him, and you just say to yourself, oh my God, they're talking about my kid.
It's Adakubi, does really well down that left side, and that's a goal! Canada have one back!
To see the whole world watching your son. And, you know, it changed everything for us. It changed us. It changed our community.
But then came the events of February 6th, 2023. Sam spent the evening at home in Antakya, Turkey, watching football with his Hatayspor teammates. In an instant, everything changed.
I spoke to my girlfriend on the phone and she had to go away, so I just kept watching MLS soccer.
He had a candle, he said, running on the table. And then he saw the candle, you know, start to shake off the table.
It's almost like you put the city in a shoebox and you just shake it.
He had one phone he was using as a flashlight, then he had one on FaceTime with me. I see the camera shaking from him running. I hear, you know, buildings clap in the background, and then the phone just shuts off.
When a desperate search for survivors is underway tonight across Turkey and Syria after a devastating earthquake followed by powerful aftershocks.
That day, I thought my whole world was going to end. My dad had just died not too long ago, my sister. And I remember calling my mom. And I said, Mom, you gotta pray because I don't know if Sam is alive. And we can't lose any more people in our family. My dad had just died not too long ago, my sister. And I remember calling my mom. And I said, Mom, you gotta pray because I don't know if Sam is alive. And we can't lose any more people in our
7.8.
family. My dad had just died not too long ago, my sister. And I remember calling my mom. And I said, Mom, you gotta pray because I don't know if Sam is alive. And we can't lose any
انتي الغنية 7.8.
وانتي
الحكاية وانتي الضحكة اللي تقوي لمتنا وتحلي الدنيا اللي عايشين فيها. الإدمان الرقمي خطر مدمر لسلامة الأطفال.
Everyone's like, is anyone here from Christian Atsu? And like, no, we all look out for each other, you know, and he was my closest friend. I was like, man, like, no one is looking for him. So I remember like just getting in my car and just going as close as I could to where he was living.
He was really wanting to help people out. It's Sam's nature, but he was doing it to the point where he was almost, you know, putting himself in really dangerous situations.
I ran to his place, and then I just see like rubble like just everywhere. And I see mothers yelling and crying. I hear kids with their father outside with their hand holding them, trying to keep them calm while they're under the rubble, and you hear voices like just under it all. And I was thinking to myself, like, how can I like find this guy? And I'm on top of the rubble just yelling his name, hoping that I hear voices. Yeah, that was like the craziest thing I've ever like seen in my life, because you just feel so powerless.
The tragic news many had feared. Ghanaian international Christian Atsu's remains have been uncovered in the rubble of the devastating earthquake that struck Turkey and Syria.
That night he was at my house and we were just hanging out watching soccer, and then like, you know, in the blink of an eye, your whole world just turns.
Sam's club team, Hatayspor, suspended operations, and 2 weeks later, he was granted an opportunity to sign elsewhere in Turkey. His choice was the largest club in the country, Galatasaray.
Within 2 to 3 weeks from an earthquake, a tragic life-altering event, he has another life-altering event and probably the biggest high of his career.
When he went to that club, he was not in the right frame of mind. There was so much going on emotionally and mentally. He wanted to be there and play and represent, but it was a tough time. It was a tough time for him.
Yeah, I think he's still dealing with survivor's guilt.
I went from dealing with an earthquake to now playing for the biggest club in Turkey. It is almost like a polar opposite of how life is supposed to happen. This is the most I spoke about the earthquake since it happened, and I couldn't talk about it for a long time because I would just get emotional. I get emotional because of how fortunate I am. I heard this quote before where it says like people change after like big events in their lives. I think that happened to me as well.
He's completely different. I think he's a little bit more withdrawn. He's a little bit more reflective. Even his perspective on life has changed.
Maybe the smile, like the joy, like the natural, pure, childlike nature in him had kind of maybe stripped away from him.
3 years has been... It's been a lot, but...
There's just some moments that change you forever and some things that you can never get back. I feel for him forever for that.
It was the main reason why I moved back to Vancouver. I think after being 7, 8 years abroad and dealing with the earthquake, I was like, I just want to go home.
I think home was calling at the time. And obviously the Whitecaps were in a good moment. He just needed to be in an environment, in a place that was familiar.
Sam continues to battle, to push.
Hey, yeah?
Despite the pain of his past, he still holds on to a dream, a reason to keep fighting, to represent Canada in the World Cup at home.
What would it mean for him to be able to play in a World Cup next year?
It would mean everything.
It would mean that all his efforts has paid off. All the fighting, all of the struggles, all the pain.
He's an adaptation warrior. He's a mentality monster. Just to be able to survive in those moments.
We have a saying, Adeku, be strong. If you fall, you get up again and you keep moving forward. You keep fighting through the pain. You fight through everything. You don't give up. You don't quit. You bounced back and look where you're standing.
The biggest thing is just to prove myself right, which is to like show people that I know I can come back from this. I think it just leads to that one moment where you can finally say that it was worth it all.
Talk about resilience, talk about proud, and talk about inspiring. That's my brother.
And Sam continues to try to somehow work his way back and be ready for June in Toronto, where it will be a scene like this. The fans have made their way back to the stands as the rain finally letting up and the lightning and thunder passing as we're getting closer. 25 minutes to kickoff between Canada and Tunisia.
The World Cup is coming to Canada.
They have a dream to fulfill. Canada, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. That's what they came for!
It's going down right now. Coop it up with 3 months of TSM for just $49.99.
Big time!
For a courtside seat to the next generation of stars.
Bring in the house sound!
Wow! From conference championship week to every round of March Madness, college basketball lives here.
Ring it up! What a finish!
Get 3 months of TSN for $49.99. Offer ends April 6th. Visit tsn.ca/subscribe.
It's almost time. Not for an introduction, but a reunion. A celebration. A time to remember and to make new memories. Time for the best in the world to play the best golf of their lives. It's almost time for the Masters on TSN. Presented by Mercedes-Benz and the all-new electric CLA.
TSN is the exclusive home of Formula One in Canada.
This season is set to be one of the closest ever.
It's lights out and away we go!
With every race, all season long.
This championship battle is being reset.
And with TSN Plus, go that extra mile with onboard cameras, pit lane chip, and more.
Who will be champion of the world?
F1 lives on TSN and TSN Plus. Subscribe now. Overdrive is Canada's most insightful.
Was he known as a top 10 player in the league?
Unexpected.
What the hell are these guys talking about?
And authentic sports talk show.
Should they make this trade?
With the best in the business. But it's also...
This guy is texting me going, are you wearing a karate outfit? That's what O says to me. Michael goes, you look like Mr. Miyagi. Noodles, the whole show I've been looking for you to look to the left and just go, Tara!
You're going to want to hear this. Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
This is the moment you waited all week for. It's Friday night. Whether you're at home or out on the town, it all starts here.
No, he didn't!
The weekend starts here.
Oh, what a move!
With NLL Friday night on TSN.
Welcome to the greatest show on earth. And it is again, sensational from Mbappe! With deadly efficiency. What a finish! There's a stupendous goal.
La Liga, every game, all season.
Very big argument that he is the best player on the planet.
On TSN Plus.
Buckle up, it's gonna be fun.
The green flag is waving for NASCAR on TSN. With every race.
It doesn't get any better than this.
All the way to the championship.
Let's go, team! Two-time champion!
And go full throttle with TSN Plus for more NASCAR to watch practice and qualifying sessions.
Unbelievable!
TSN takes pole position for your NASCAR coverage.
Let's go!
Subscribe now.
Back in Toronto, there's Dane St. Clair and Max Crépeau. We'll get into that battle for the starting keeper position for June 12th in just a few minutes as Canada takes to the pitch for warm-up finally after what will be an hour and 15 delay before they kick it off about 25 minutes from now. Another newcomer getting his first start for Canada, Marcelo Flores, will start for Canada tonight. Here's Matthew and KJ on Flores and more.
Well, KJ, this week you spoke to Marcelo Flores and really talked to him about his journey growing up in Georgetown, Ontario, near Guelph, Ontario, going over to England, the amount of passion within his family, especially his father, Ruben, who was his coach as he was growing up. But everything he learned about himself going through all of his trials with Chelsea and Ipswich and then finding himself in Arsenal's academy system, you could sense a maturity. And when you watch him on the pitch, a confidence and a workmanlike effort and intensity as well. Sounds like a Jesse Marsh player to me.
Yeah, definitely. Now he's a Canadian. We can call this a true, real
with red hair
Canadian story. You know, ultimately you alluded to it, growing up in Ontario and Guelph. You know, his dad, Ruben, got a job in the Cayman Islands. And at that moment, his family had a decision to make. Does he go alone? And he said, you know what, I'm going to take Marcelo. Just 13 at the time. Marcelo goes there, kicks the ball around on the side as his dad's coaching the team, and then sometimes he would get in his way. But at one moment, you know, again, this is how God works sometimes. At one moment, Steve Foley arrives from Ipswich Town, and they've got an academy over there where they've got a little bit of a scouting mission to young players in the Cayman Islands. And he invites Ruben's son, Marcelo, to go to the academy. And he has some trials. And then 2 players got selected, and Marcelo was one of them. And then the decision comes that the family decides to go to England. Not just Marcelo and his dad, the family. Both his sisters now are professional players as well. And the commitment that they made to go over there as a whole family, I think, is really important. And when I watch Marcelo, I look at a player that is obviously schooled in the Mexican quality of technique, but is a hardened player from the UK football system. In the academies there, he didn't quite make it for Arteta's Arsenal. He decided to leave, but he was on the bench. But they've grown up in that tough environment where I can see he goes by it. He's not afraid of that as a young player, as a small player, that toughness and the strength. And of the young players in this team getting their first opportunities in this camp, who some might be borderline players, for me, is a World Cup certainty.
When you think about players who have grown up over the last year, you got to think about Ismail Kone. This time last year, after video surfaced of a Marseille training when former Marseille manager Roberto De Zerbi was absolutely shredding Ismail Kone, and we understood that even before then, some of the things in his reputation with Watford as well, maybe not keying into all those things he should have been as a professional player. What a difference a year makes. He goes to Sassuolo. He's under the manager of Fabio Grosso, who was, here we go, Italy again, the World Cup hero in 2006. He's positioned in midfield alongside a veteran midfielder, Nemanja Matic, and he has come into his own to a point now where I was asking Ismail this week if he has been visualizing what this World Cup could do for him and his career. And he said, last year I was, and maybe I was too preoccupied with last year, but I'm trying to ground myself every single day, and you could really tell he's worked on his mental health in the game. And obviously you and I were in Bucharest when there was that whole blow-up on the sidelines between him and assistant coach Mauro Biello, and Dane St. Clair had to get involved. But I think there's some credit here has to go to Jesse Marsh, the way that he has handled Ismail Kone, really since the beginning of Copa America. trying to show Ismail, not only does he have a place on this team in that the improvisation and the obvious God-given abilities that he has with his technical abilities, that they have a place in this team and a really important place in this team. But he's gone ahead and helped his emotional side, his maturity as well, to a point now when I was asking Ismail Kone, well, how are you grounding yourself? What are the things that you're doing? He said, all I have to worry about is being me. Look at what I get to do for a living. I get to go ahead and play for my national team. I'm playing in one of the top 5 leagues in the world, and it seemed to me that he has a sense of self-assuredness, and that is key for a player going into the World Cup.
I think Canada will fall in love with him as they watch these games on TSN during the World Cup. The storylines get to know him. A wonderful family, great mother. The thing about Kone for me is that a lot of the chat about Kone in his career has been about an individual. And now he's a big piece in a big moment of a jigsaw. And he wants it. And the best players in any sport make other players better around them. And now he's developing at Sassuolo and with the national team to go, it's not just about me. How am I getting the better out of these players? How am I overlapping on the right-hand side when a fullback comes in? How do I know when to drive forward or just get a little bit deeper? And I think that's what Ismail's next development is to understand and truly back his ability mentally to commit 90 minutes tactically to the discipline that he needs. And I think he's getting that in the Serie A. But for me now, it's not about the individual, it's about him and supplying other players like Jonathan David and others up front. So I think that's the key for me, Ismail. When we think about him, he's no longer as an individual. It's like, what is he doing collectively for this team?
He spoke to Jonathan David as well this week. Here's a man who's had so much attention on him since making that big move to Juventus. There's been talk in Italy, again, we're talking about Italy, but the fact that Luciano Spalletti, his manager at Juventus, was keenly watching what he was doing against Iceland, scoring those 2 penalties. Where do you think he is at, given how much Canada relied on him last summer when he didn't have a contract during the Gold Cup? Where is his mentality now, given all the pressure he's had to deal with at a club like Juventus?
I asked him that question. The key for me was that he said that he didn't complain about not playing as many minutes at Juventus. He said he trains the way that he trains, the same way as if he was playing, but he knows there's areas of his game he has to get better at. And I think that's fascinating for somebody at his level, who is obviously a superstar in this team and playing for one of the greatest clubs in world football, that he understands the areas that he has to get. And I asked him about that, and he said, okay, where do you need to get better? He says, understanding his finishing, his heading is really important to him to get better at. He's got 4 goals with his head for Canada, but he wants more. So here is a player who's got a true growth mindset of how to understand how to get better. And I know there's a lot of controversy and a lot of talk in Italy. Is he finished at Juventus? How is he going to get through this? But I've seen it a lot with this player in the past, that I think he'll come out of this stronger and be better for it.
And the one thing he has told you and I consistently, the only thing that matters to him, apart obviously during the club season and who pays his bills, but every time he's with Canada, the only thing on his mind is doing the best he can for the Canadian men's national team. James.
Gentlemen, thank you. And yes, all the questions about David coming in, a lot of them answered in that performance against Iceland. 4 shots on target, the touches per match way up, the touches in the box. Look at 19 in the previous 10, 11 there, and of course the 2 goals on penalties. So he did a lot versus Iceland, or almost as much as he had done in the previous 10 games. As Jonathan David gets into form in perfect timing for Canada. David, of course, will be one of Canada's critical players, as will Ismail Kone, as the guys we're talking about. Here's a guy who came in when you were still around and was really raw and has developed in maybe the biggest X factor for Canada in the World Cup because of his potential to just take over a game.
Oh, how he could take over a game. It's special to see from a young age. You know, I knew a bit about Ismail before coming into camp. I know he had been doing well with Montreal Impact. I got to see him a couple times in the training sessions, but that first game we played, he was a special player, you know, just so comfortable getting on the ball on all parts of the pitch. He'd come down and receive it on top of his own box, get turned and really go out and make something happen, you know, get his players, his teammates involved, and just fearless at that young age, which is you don't see very often. So
you could tell that was something special right away?
Right away. I said, this is going to be Canada's #1 midfielder for many years to come.
He does have a presence, doesn't he, in the middle of the park, and I've said it before, we've just seen him evolve as a player, and his maturity is really setting in now. The way that he does get on the ball and controls that middle of the park, and what I love is when there's space to take, he takes it and drives at defenders and wants to make something happen. He's just all-rounded, isn't he? That box-to-box midfielder 100%. That we need.
Yeah, you don't get to see that from too many midfielders, especially in football today. You know, a lot of players play safe.
You spoke about them coming in and having the presence. There's very few midfielders, particularly midfielders, I would say, that come in and have that presence at such a young age and have that, you know, that sense of belonging. The way I felt when I even first got into the international setup, I was around legends, and he would have felt that with you, Atiba, and many others that would have been around the squad, of the importance of the players he's playing with. And sometimes you can become a little bit overawed with that. You can become a little bit, in your own mind, like you have a bit of a feeling of, I'm not ready for this. I'm not quite ready to play alongside these guys. But clearly he has that belief in his own ability that he can take his game onto the next level, James.
Those guys were joking about they feel like they've been doing a podcast for the last hour and a half. We should maybe do one called Crépeau versus St. Clair, because we've set a record over the last 2 years. That has been the #1 panel topic, because it seems like every single window for Canada or every single tournament they're in, that's what we're talking about. Is it time here somewhere? There's only 3 friendlies left that one of these guys just grabs this starting keeper position?
Yeah. I've always consistently said it takes me back to Crépeau for his performance him on, Jimmy, really, and I feel as though that it's been harsh that he was dropped, and that was largely down to the form that he was showing at Portland.
Yeah, look, I mean, for me, Max, I mean, he can control the box. He's a great shot stopper, isn't he? And he does show up in tournaments and big games. Max always shows up. And I think at the moment, the way that Dane plays, and he can play out the back, and he controls the box, but he can also keep the rhythm going when he gets the ball. He's better with his feet, but I think, you know, at the moment, Jesse likes Dane St. Clair. I think that's why we've seen a little bit more of him. But at the same time, Max, for me, is a great goalkeeper on his own. So, again, who's it going to be? And I think that's why the biggest issue is, because we tend to know what other positions, who could start. But this one, we just don't know who he's going to pick at the end of the day.
Right, and he says he will tell them at the camp before the World Cup.
Yeah.
There's no chance that it would go down to the last 2 friendlies and who played better. Let's hope, right?
But the only thing about it is, if they make a mistake in that last game, and then it's going to be question marks over them, isn't it?
And it'll go back to the other one. Hey, if you've been with us through this entire rain delay, we thank you. That's the kind of passion we need from Canada starting June 12th in Toronto. But we're finally here, closing in on match time, Canada and Tunisia. We'll get you set for it right after this on TSN.
This presentation of Canada Soccer on TSN is brought to you by the Canadian Premier League.
Bring your space to life with a few elevated and unexpected touches. Everyday Inspired starts at Walmart.
Get Advil Liquid Gels for fast and effective relief. And conquer your tough pain and fevers with the power of Liquid Fast Relief. Try Advil Liquid Gels and get Liquid Fast Relief.
Parents choose Bear Paws Active for halftime, made with no artificial flavors or colors. The little wins bring the biggest smiles. Bear Paws Active helps fuel them to keep going. Bear Paws Active helps fuel active kids.
Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power, pushes the boundaries of innovation to power the unexpected, all on one battery platform. Experience the industry's most powerful cordless pressure washer with advanced digital controls. A string trimmer so smart, it loads the line with the push of a button. And our most powerful blower that exceeds the power of gas. Ego takes innovation to the next level. One battery powers all tools. Find an Ego retailer near you.
How are your investments doing?
That was on purpose. You know that topic always throws me off.
Lots of people feel that way. But don't worry, BMO's got advice to spare with any investment guidance and support you need.
I need some.
And you'll get it with personalized investing recommendations to help you feel confident in your decisions.
I'm curious. Do you roll as good as you help?
Bowling mode.
It's yes, by the way.
Think it can't get any better? We think you should have more. More confidence. More space. More style. And who doesn't want more fun? We all deserve more. That's why there's an SUVW for everyone. Taos, Tiguan, Atlas, Cross Sport, and the all-electric ID4.
I see you looking.
There's a lot of Canadian content on the floor.
Time to win.
Nothing is guaranteed this year. Man's already.
TikTok famous.
Much improved rap the team.
Going to work. Welcome to the greatest show on earth.
And it is again, sensational for the Duffy!
With deadly efficiency. What a finish! There's a stupendous goal.
La Liga, every game, all season.
Very big argument that he is the best player on the planet.
On TSN Plus.
Team Dunstone
He wanted to dance.
represents Canada against the world's best. The LGT World Men's Curling Championship on TSN. This presentation of Canada Soccer on TSN is brought to you by BMO.
The next time Canada plays in Toronto, it will be June 12th, the opening game of the World Cup against Bosnia-Herzegovina, who upset Italy today. But for now, it's a rain-delayed friendly against Tunisia. John Still and Stephen Caldwell have the call.
Finally, we are just moments away from kickoff here on TSN. The groups are set. Next up is the grandest stage of them all. Canada play their final match in Toronto before the first match of their World Cup odyssey in June. And Canadian manager Jesse Marsch has gotten his wish. It will be a sea of red and white versus Bosnia and Herzegovina after their incredible penalty shootout victory will keep Italy out of their third straight World Cup. Tonight, however, there will be plenty of red and white support for Tunisia, and the Canadians need a far better performance against an African nation who became the first team ever to not concede a goal in World Cup qualifying. I'm John Still with Stephen Caldwell. Glad to give the lads back in studio a break here, Stevie, for just a moment as they've been doing the Lord's work, keeping things settled for us as we wait for this rain delay to finally pass. But Canada versus Tunisia, we're just moments away.
Yeah, they did a wonderful job, John. It's never nice filling, isn't it? It was all right for us in the press room just having a cup of tea, but the boys did well, as also Matthew and KJ obviously here along a bit from us. So we're excited. It's on the verge of happening. It's going to be difficult for the players. I have to recognise that first, waiting around and hoping that lightning's going to stop and then being delayed more and more. It's a challenge. So mentally, you have to make sure that when you come out here and the whistle blows, you're ready to go and do your best and be up for it right from the start, which is something that hurt Canada on Saturday against Iceland. So they've got to start this game really well, and the delay will play a part in that for sure.
No Ori Oscarson, which will help Canada in a big way. But yes, a hostile takeover at the moment at BMO Field as the Tunisian fans are in full voice getting ready to welcome their players onto the pitch for this last friendly at BMO Field before everything gets underway in June. Canada versus Tunisia right here on TSN. And we heard from the guys earlier on, Stevie, about just the importance of what we are going to see on the pitch for certain players, namely Maxime Crépeau and Tani Oluwaseyi, who stand out almost more than anybody for tonight.
Yeah, but I think everybody out there in Canada, black tonight, where it's going to be this beautiful away kit, has to do a good job. You know, I'm looking at guys like Saliba, John, who wasn't at his best on Saturday. He's got to play better again tonight. Segur didn't have a strong game on Saturday. He's going to be better tonight. And then the opportunity for Flores from the start, and Liam Miller as an example, getting his chance from the start to show that he's capable of playing significant minutes. So a lot of players out there. I think the one thing Jesse Marsh will be delighted with is we're getting ready to welcome the players, is that Ismail Koney's back in that midfield. He is having an outstanding season at Sassuolo. It's a big game for him to show again that he has the stature and the maturity to get a hold of a game like this and control it from start to finish.
Yeah, the creative juices are going to be needed in full effect tonight against a Tunisian side that, again, just to repeat, never seeing the likes of this in World Cup qualifying before. Did not even concede a goal as they were able to basically dominate their entire World Cup qualifying group, coming off of a 2-0 loss to Morocco a few weeks ago in a friendly. But this Tunisian side are going to be incredibly difficult to break down, and this is a Canada side who have really struggled against teams who know what they're doing in their own half of the pitch.
Exactly, and they get players behind the ball, they're experienced, they're stingy defensively, as you said, and they've got players that I think are sort of better than maybe are recognised. Not household names as an example. Look at the captain from Eintracht Frankfurt in the middle of the park. Scary is an outstanding player. A lot of changes tonight though, so it's a different 11 that Canada will face that went out there against Haiti on Saturday night after the Canada-Iceland match.
Kayla Herrera will be our referee this evening from Costa Rica, as you see the players making their way out onto the pitch. Canada in their all-black kits, while
it's a different 11 that Canada will face that went out there against Haiti on Saturday night after the Canada-Iceland match.
Kayla Herrera will be our referee this evening from Costa Rica, making their way out onto the pitch. Canada in their all-black kits, while Tunisia in their red and whites, and both teams finally qualify for the World Cup in Tunisia's group. And then it was, of course, Bosnia and Herzegovina breaking Italian hearts overseas earlier today. It's time for the national anthems. Let's go pitch side.
Tonight, on behalf of Perfect Pitch, please welcome Juno Award-winning artist Preston Pablo.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command, with glowing hearts we see the rise, the true north strong and free, from far and wide. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada,
we stand on guard for thee.
The fans have braved the storm. Now can the Tunisians. Canada wanted to get off to a much better start than they did against Iceland, against one of the most stingy sides in all of world football. As we see the players shaking hands, getting ready for the final friendly of this window. The Tunisians 1-0 winners on Saturday over Haiti right here at BMO Field. Let's get into the starting lineups. GE Appliances starting 11, and we're going to start, of course, with Max Crépeau. Gets one of the final chances to stake his claim to be Canada's starting keeper in June. Ismael Kone back in midfield after his one-match suspension, and both Ralph Priso and Marcelo Flores make their first starts for their country after coming on as substitutes against Iceland, and it's Villarreal man Tani Oluwaseyi who gets the run out alongside Jonathan David, trying to nail down his place in the starting 11. It is just Canada's second ever match against the Eagles of Carthage, and their first meeting in more than 40 years. As you get that first look at those beautiful black kits that Canada will be wearing at the World Cup. Getting underway in June right here at BMO Field. 2 more matches for Canada before proceedings get underway. And it's so close you can almost taste it. It's been such a long build-up, such a long wait, as we're going to see the captains, Elias Skiri, alongside Jonathan David for Canada. In front of tonight's referee, Keylor Herrera from Costa Rica. I have a feeling he is going to have to calm these players down, who are going to be amped up after the long weather delay, getting ready for this crucial matchup. Not necessarily in terms of standings, of course it's a friendly, but in terms of what these players need to show their manager before the World Cup. Wholesale changes from Tunisian manager Sabri Lamouchi. Just 2 players remain in the starting 11 that beat Haiti 1-0 on Saturday. Club Africain goalkeeper Mouhib Chamak draws in for Sabri Ben Hessen for his first cap. 32-year-old Rani Khedira, brother of German World Cup winner Sami, gets his first ever start for Tunisia. And Ali Ahmed's Norwich teammate Artis Ben Slimane will be the creator-in-chief for Tunisia. Teenager Loui Ben Farhat leading the line, looking for his first goal for his country in just his second appearance. BMO Field may have full support in June without Italy in their group, but the Tunisian throngs are out in full voice on a rainy night on Lake Ontario. Jesse Marsh's men have a stiffer challenge tonight against a resolute African visitor. One of the very few chances to work out the kinks tactically and to secure individual place.
I don't mind that though. I mean, it's a little close to the goalkeeper, but you're expecting one of the forwards to get in where it matters, which is between the posts, 6 yards out. And Oluwaseyi sort of made a similar run to David instead of gambling and trying to get in where you score most of your goals as a kind of poacher striker, let's call it.
And this is a back line that's going to need to be tested, as Ben Wanes and Arus are on the bench, the 2 center backs who played against Haiti. And going with 10 combined caps between Alagram and Omar Rekik at the back. So a real chance to get after some more unproven players for Jesse Marsh's side. As you hear the Tunisian fans, they are here and they are noisy. Marcelo Flores, his first start for his country.
No, it's a poor decision from the referee, Keller Herrera. Larea was pulled down first, and then I think as he came down there was a bit of a collision, but I felt like it definitely should have went in Canada's favour.
Let's get to our BMO player spotlight, and this is going to be one of the men who is going to have to do things creatively for Canada at the World Cup, Stevie, and that is Ismail Kone.
Absolutely, it's great to see him back. I think he's having a wonderful season, and I'm excited to see how he can control this game, how he can show that his game has matured, and it's dominating that midfield on both sides of the ball, John, that'll make his performance special tonight.
What's our BMO player spotlight is Safida El Taif could not keep it down. He's going to be a tricky customer for Richie Larea and Ralph Priso to have to keep an eye on down this right side. Pierre Kadira helped further forward by Jonathan David. Liam Miller putting Ali Abdi under all kinds of pressure. Miller able to keep the ball for the moment. Finally bungled away by the Tunisians.
Yeah, well done, Liam Miller. It was an awkward one, bouncing around, and Ali Abdi didn't quite deal with it the way he should have.
Flores cutting inside, looking for options. Back out to Larea. Kone in the half space to Saliba. Saliba towards Flores, but asking too much of the Tigres man. And it'll be shepherded out for a goal kick. Stevie, yesterday on the broadcast call with Jesse Marsh, he spoke about how Marcelo Flores not necessarily having free reign out there on the pitch, but they want him to cut in on that right side. What did you make of what you saw from his cameo against Iceland?
I liked what I saw. I saw a player who was very positive from the start.
Long ball towards Ben Farhad. He's able to get away from both Waterman and Priso, and Keylor Herrera waving off. The demands from the Tunisian fans.
Yeah, it was too easy that, John. Ben Farhad was in behind Joe Waterman. Far too easy. And don't know if it was contact, but poor from the back line.
Game is end-to-end in the early going here. Oluwaseyi with the first shot on target, but it's steered aside by Chamak in the first corner of the match, going the way of Canada.
End-to-end stuff. Good play from Larea into Oluwaseyi. Very positive. Just wants to take it on the turn, get his shot away. And there's the one earlier where Waterman gets caught out. Priso comes over quite well, actually. It doesn't look to be any contact on Ben Farhad.
So Marcelo Flores on corner duty tonight. Trying to whip it inside, headed away at the near post. It's a Miller. Shifted out on the right side. Jonathan David cutting back onto his left foot. Kone top of the box, trying the 1-2 with David. Cut out at the last moment, but it's turned back over by Miller. And another corner conceded as the pressure high up the pitch, causing all kinds of problems for Tunisia.
Yeah, they're up against it. It's good pressure from Canada. It was lovely football on the right. Jonathan David playing a little give and go. Kone trying to get her over Kadira.
Off the training ground, short ball inside, and couldn't be kept down by Saliba.
What a difficult header this is when you're coming away from the goal to try and get direction and power on the ball. It's not easy. Switch off Tunisia. They could have played it short the corner before. They do this time, and as Saliba's coming back towards the penalty spot, it's a very difficult header, and just about gets it perfect.
Kadira trying to shift play. Can't link up with El Taif. Larea now, he's been galloping down the left side and wins a free kick for Canada. And that is going to be an interesting battle to watch.
Yeah, El Taif's a tricky customer, but Larea's hoping to take him the other way. make him track back, run back and defend, which is obviously not what he wants to do. So credit to Larea at the start of this game. He's had the wide man for Tunisia running in the wrong direction.
How about this wide man, Liam Miller? He's been on his bike in the early going here. Able to keep the ball, put it inside, and it's a late whistle on Liam Miller, and he'll protest his case.
Yeah, he's saying he got the ball, which he probably did, but when you leave your feet now to do it, yeah, it just comes through a little bit, doesn't he, on Elias Saad. It is a foul at this level. Liam Miller's had a bright start though on the right. He's got a lot of football and he's shown his intentions early. He's been pretty positive.
Omar Rekik, brother of former Manchester man. Plenty of connections in this Tunisian side. Of course, Rani Khedira, Sami Khedira, and as well a couple of teammates doing battle out here. Ali Ahmed on the bench, and Anis Ben Slimani, both combining at times for Norwich City so far this year in the championship.
It's a little different from Tunisia tonight from Saturday. It's more of a 4-3-3 with Scarey, who's now in the back line. He'll drop back into a 3 to cause Canada problems. Excellent midfielder Scarey is, and he's dominating from the base. But you've got Rami Khedira a little higher with Ben Slimani as out and out 8s, and then on this right hand side El Taif will flip between inside wide and hugging the touchline at times. So you can see they're a side, even though they've made changes, they're pretty comfortable in the way that they play, and they know exactly what their roles and responsibilities are.
Scarey, 27 appearances for Eintracht Frankfurt so far this season. They've gone with a little bit of a younger lineup tonight, except in the midfield, with a 32-year-old Khedira and 30-year-old Scarey. Is Canada just poking and prodding for the moment? Miller inside Dick David. Thought he was continuing on his run. Owashe nearly able to nick it to him. Priso will head it down to Larea. Canada coming off of conceding 2 goals on Saturday versus Iceland. First time they had done that, conceding the opening 2 goals in a match since the Nations League semifinal versus Mexico in 2025. Sigur inside channel to Flores. Jonathan David popping up all over the pitch to Larea. Can't beat El Taif with that ball, but he is going to win another free kick.
He's so good at that, isn't he? Just getting his body between the player and the football, inviting the contact. And you see it there. I mean, it is a foul. I know he goes over a little easily, but he's excellent at doing that, and it's in a dangerous area. This Flores, who's had a lot of the ball in the last 2 or 3 minutes, is going to take this one. It's been good stuff already. Saliba looks way more comfortable. It's no disrespect to Mathieu Chouanier, but I'm not sure that Saliba and Chouanier are fit together in the middle of the park. You can see already how much more comfortable he is with Ismail Kone as his partner.
Flores from a tight angle, plenty of bodies to aim for in the 18. Flores right at the goal, and an easy claim by Chamak. He tries the long throw in the direction of Ben Slimani, and Sigur couldn't keep it down. And Richard Larea across the cover and prevent that counter-attack.
Really good from Larea. A little bit of a mistake from Sigur, who elected to go with the foot instead of the head, which I think was a better option. But Larea tracks all the way over. It's his pace in that back line, his defensive cover, that's so important for Canada.
And El Taif is going to be judged to have gained that cross. See the replay here, as it looked like Chamak had thrown the ball outside of his own 18. Of course, no VAR, international friendly. It's a raucous Tunisian crowd at BMO Field tonight. They've certainly kept their voices up throughout the rain delay. Abdi can't get away from Miller. Ali Abdi, teammates with Moise Bombito at Nice. The second most capped outfield player after the captain Elias Skiri. Jamak. Ball towards El Taif. Playing down Laina Fati, and El Taif is crashed into by Ralph Priso. A crunching challenge from the Whitecaps man.
Well done, Priso. Does well to cover Larea, who made a couple of little mistakes here, and no nonsense from the Canadian man. Is newly formed centre-back, not played many games there, but really settling into that position with his club, the Vancouver Whitecaps.
Looked like a potential turnover in a dangerous spot from Ismail Kone, but Anis bin Slimane called for the foul. So far, Stevie, it feels like Canada really relying on their wide players in the early going.
Yeah, they're trying to get the ball wide. They're the ones that are keeping the width. Fullbacks are inverting, especially Larea, who's higher up inside left, and you've got Segur playing a little deeper in possession.
Flores, good ball inside towards David, trying the 1-2. Flores able to corral it. Larea asking for it, couldn't get it to him. Saliba to Priso. Flores and David popping up all over the pitch in the early going here. Kone in between two Tunisians. Can get the ball towards Miller, and Abdi will just slam that away from his own goal. You're right there, Jesse Marsh telling his men to stay active, wanting a better start from what they saw against Iceland, and so far he's getting it.
Saliba could have hit the diagonal there. Liam Miller's on. Ali Abdi really coming in narrow and leaving Miller with that space. He gets it here again.
Miller towards David. Graham on the cover. Abdi able to turn away from Miller. Segur very high up the pitch, trying to win the ball back, and that was well worked by Tunisia, but cut out at the last moment by Saliba.
Well done. That's it. If one goes, you've got to go follow, John. Everyone's got to back him up. Canada did well that in 3s and 4s there.
Saliba and Kone turning it over in the middle of the park. Now Loa Shea trying to take Tunisia outside, in another corner third of this first half.
Yeah, and it's a much better tempo tonight. They're playing at a pace. They're asking the opposition to play faster than maybe they would like, and so you're getting that chaotic game, the turnovers that Canada want. Counter-attack, they're really not allowing Tunisia to settle, even if they give the ball away. They're pressing really quickly in 3s and 4s and winning it back in good areas, which leads to another corner on this far side.
Flores now with the in-swinger towards Waterman, headed away and cleared for the moment, only as far as Larea. Back towards Flores. Miller on the overlap, calling for it, gets it. Miller's keeping it along the pitch, and cleared away by Tunisia.
It's a poor ball. Just try and shape it into the middle of the 6-yard box. Exactly what you want there, but sort of got it wrong, and it was too flat and behind everybody.
Header won by Segur, and foul called on Elias Saad, the Hanover man,
and Segur gets up well. Just jumping into him, isn't he?
Back to the flanks with Miller. Miller again with a crossing chance towards Kone, trying to touch it into his own path. Cut out, and Skiri is able to turn and find Tunisian bodies flowing forward. It's El Taif, and it's Crépeau far off of his line to cut out that counter-attack.
Really good. The timing of his step there was perfect. He just gets there in the nick of time. I thought for a minute he was going to hesitate and stay, but he committed to it. He was positive, and it was needed. It was important. That was the first time we've really saw Tunisia dangerous through a counter-attack, and all because the work done by their captain Skiri, who played them out of danger lovely.
Well, Canada trying to do the same. Priso short to Max Crépeau. It's been such a talking point. Maxime Crépeau, Dane St. Clair. Who starts game one? This is a real moment for Crépeau to stand up and be counted in front of his manager.
It's been the battle, isn't it? It's been an almighty battle between two guys that there's not a lot between them, I have to say, but they have different attributes, and so the debate is who's right for what game, and I think it's going to go to the wire.
More space down the flanks. Flores to Saliba. Ball behind Kone. And he's going to be called for the pullback on Rani Khedira.
Good foul, though. Just after that most recent counter-attack, you want to make sure it's not the same again. Kone's just cute enough that he makes it look like he's trying to win the ball, but he knows what he's doing, trying to stop Sad from breaking free. You see when Tunisia do get beyond the Canadian midfield, they've got willing runners and pace to go in behind.
Graham. Chamak. Good flicked ball by Nafati.
He's never winning that, Priso. Looked like a foul to me coming in to the side of Nafati.
And Mulaz Nafati will stay down on the pitch, clutching his back.
Yeah, he's just late to step. This is the decisions that you have to make as a centre-back. Can you go win it? If you can't, you better drop him off. You end up no man's land, and he turns his body and bumps into Nafati. It's a clear foul. He should have been penalised, but it's maybe an example of still some of the naiveties in Ralph Priso's play, trying to learn that position. Doesn't have a whole ton of experience there.
Jesse Marsh was none too pleased with what he felt was the quality of the pitch on Saturday, but I think the way that this pitch has taken the rain in, it was raining rather hard here for about an hour or so, and certainly has led to some quicker football out there on the pitch tonight.
Yeah, it's took the rain really well. It's actually made it better. The wet surface, it's moving quite quickly, and it's made what was a cold day on Saturday afternoon and a lively surface, John, in terms of the kind of movement of the ball, and it's sort of like deadened the pitch a little bit, made it quicker to play on. Looks like both set of players are enjoying it more than, well, certainly the Canadians did on Saturday afternoon.
Canada winless in their last 3 games on Canadian soil, while Tunisia have never lost to a CONCACAF opponent. Something's got to give here tonight. Flores settles things down, taking on Natafi one-on-one. And that goes the way of the Norrköping man. Waterman across to get in front of that, but a poor bounce releases El Taïf. He's got bodies in the middle. Ben Slimani, top of the box, takes the shot on, and good recovery from Canada to get something on that ball destined towards Maxime Crépeau's goal.
Didn't make the most of that. It comes about because of the mistake from Waterman and Priso around about the halfway line, and it's Kone, I think, that gets something on it. Ben Slimani wasn't as sharp as he needed to be. They had an overload, and 2 players really on the left there. They should have made more of it, Tunisia, but an example of this new partnership of Waterman and Priso getting it wrong. I thought just clearing the ball at times is the best way as a defender.
Well, it's Tunisia. We're leaving something in on the Canadian men on the pitch. Larea. Flores. Segur. Miller, he's got plenty of joy so far down the right side. Decides against it in front of Sad. Now Priso. His first start for Canada. Taking Kamal Miller's spot, who played against Iceland on Saturday. very patient after what was a frantic start to this match. So short to David. It's a poor ball back by the captain. Poor ball forward by Sad. Now Flores. He's been lively in the early going here. Into the box. Saliba, top of the 18. Back to Flores. Able to get across inside. Settled down by David to Oluwaseyi. And a great build-up and layoff. But Tani just couldn't keep it down.
It's a little awkward. It's high and it doesn't really drop from him. He knows he has to take it early, but he should do better. Nice from Flores. Gets the ball in. Too much space. Allowed for Jonathan Davids a lovely little cushion back. And he should do better. It's not an easy one, but he's got to get over the top of that and just get it down into the turf. There's every chance if he hits the target. It's past Chamak and Canada have the opening goal.
Oluwaseyi, 21 caps, just 2 goals for his country. Want to have a better return on that, and has had minutes hard to come by recently at Villarreal. Not this man, Kone. Saliba. Oluwaseyi. Good strength. Flores. Larea. Body streaming through the middle. Flores trying to get it back to Larea. Just cut out at the last moment by Nafati. Another turnover.
Yeah, it was unlucky though. Flores and Larea are doing really well on this left-hand side. Nice little understanding between them. Maybe it could have been first time from Flores. The real threat is starting to appear from Tunisia on the counter, especially when Canada give it away in the middle of the park. They've got willing runners and they're very direct with their first ball, trying to get in behind Priso and Waterman. Hopefully Priso's not stretched something here, because he's went down right away and put his hand up. This could be the end of his night. Normally when you see that hand go up and then the other arm or the other hand go to the back of the hamstring, and you're struggling.
Just look at him, you can tell he's gutted.
He's in trouble here. I don't think Ralph Priso's going to play in this match any longer. It's so unfortunate. This was his big opportunity. He hasn't been too bad in the opening 20+ minutes of this game, but I'm fearful that his night's over through injury.
He's had a brilliant start to the season with Vancouver. 5 appearances in MLS, 3 appearances in CONCACAF Champions Cup. Jesper Sorensen has been glowing in his praise of what he's seen from Ralph Priso so far this season. Converted midfielder into center back, and he has been steady as she goes for the Whitecaps. So not just a worry for Canada, obviously, as you can see the despair from Priso, but of course for Vancouver Whitecaps fans.
Yeah, there's a ball in behind, and he's got a motor and open his legs up against El Taif, and he knows right away, doesn't he, as he stretches there. There you go, left hand to the back of the left hamstring, and you can tell with his reaction, I don't think he's going to be able to run this one off. Such a shame.
You don't want to play doctor, but reaching for his hamstring, and you know, on the other side of the back line, Alistair Johnston not having the greatest of luck with that ligament in the early going, and a painful walk for Ralph Priso. And it is going to be Kamal Miller coming onto the pitch, who had a very difficult start to that match versus Iceland. Obviously the turnover for Ori Oscarsson's opener, and now getting a chance of redemption, the Portland Timbers man.
Another chance. He's got to get into this one really quickly. Sometimes as a defender, you're sitting on the bench, you don't feel there's a likelihood, especially in the first 25 minutes, that you're going to come on. So the mindset has to switch immediately, and he's got to be up to the speed of this game and concentrating fully.
Graham. Poor ball across, easily cut out by Liam Miller, and now Jonathan David has Miller ahead of him. Liam Miller into the 18, saved by Chamak. Canada going to try and get back on the front foot here. Saliba into Oluwaseyi, laying it off towards David. Slip in the 18 by Tunisia. Out to Kone. Sigur taking the shot on, and Chamakh saw it the whole way, tips it over the bar, and now it's Ismail Kone writhing on the pitch.
I hope he's okay, because he got caught really late, Kone, as he played a lovely little pass to his side, and he looks in a bit of pain here. This is really worrying for Canada. We'll get a look at the Miller chance. It's too speculative, that. He's going to be a lot more clinical, and a lovely clean strike from Sigur, a little bit central. You'd expect Chamakh to save it. If it's to the side of him, he might have been in more trouble. You see he gets clipped there on the knee as he plays. I think it's his right knee, and I hope it's just bone to bone. I think it might be not a twist to that right knee.
He had a bone bruise that kept him out in January with Sassuolo, but he looks like he's going to give it a go.
Yeah, he's limping around, but I think he'll run this one off.
Jesse Marsh cannot be happy with so many injury issues already. Ralph Priso off the pitch for Kamal Miller, and now Kone hobbled. Corner kick upcoming for Canada.
He's feeling it. He's certainly limping. He's got to try and run it off.
Flores again. He's had good deliveries his last two corner kicks. What can he do here? Flores over the head of everyone. Finally flicked right at the 6-yard box. And I'm not sure if Kamal Miller got a toe on it, but either way, it's Tunisia going back the other way with El Taif.
That was a chance. Miller's right in front of the goalkeeper. There's another one there, and it's Oliver Shaves getting a yellow. Silly challenge to make. No need for it. Brings his studs right down on the foot of El Taif. Now we see he's wriggling, and Sigur's pulling him back. That's probably a foul, and he just kind of rakes his studs across the foot. Hard to tell. I don't think it's intentional. It's just more clumsy and late from the striker. Real striker's challenge from Oliver Shea. And back to that earlier one where the header comes in and he's been wrestled to the ground, Miller. I don't know if it's enough to award a penalty, but he's certainly got his hands all over him. Miller can't get any kind of redirection on that, John. It's in the back of the net, and Canada are in the lead.
Kamal Miller yet to score for Canada. And a real chance there. Now Tani Oluwaseyi picking up the first yellow card of the match. So we hit the half-hour mark, 0-0 between Canada and Tunisia in this rain-delayed final friendly of the penultimate international window for the Canadians. Waterman. Miller. Flores. Able to keep it in. Miller, good control. Directing Sigur. Jonathan David hugging the touchline at the moment with Miller further inside. Saliba on the left to Flores. Now Larea inside. Closed down by El Taif. Skips away from him for the moment. Flores finally going to put one in there. Oluwaseyi, good strength to hold off Rekic, but a very tough chance to direct on goal.
Yeah, a bit of a vulnerability in the Tunisian defence in terms of when Canada come back. They're sitting too deep. They've got to squeeze up. It's given Canada some space off the front. And David and Oluwaseyi have been quite effective at that so far. And Larea's having a great match, especially in this inside position. He's getting in towards the byline, but there's a couple of times where you see his lack of left foot, where he can just wrap his foot around it and whip it into the area, but he doesn't have the confidence on his weaker left side. And as I said before, unfortunately at times Larea's final ball just lets him down. Everything else is his top drawer, and he's got to try and work on, find that delivery, because he gets in such great positions.
Abdi can't link up with Saad. Now Kone to Miller. Ismail Kone, the Notre Dame de Grâce Quebec native. Miller, ball towards Flores, and asking too much of him to keep that in. Fatty, they haven't tried the right side nearly as much, Tunisia. As Waterman under pressure from Ben Farhat. Back to Maxime Crépeau, who's had very little to do. Saliba and Slimane settling it down. Saad towards Ben Farhat, and Nico Segur and referee Kayla Herrera on the same page. Motioning get up.
Canada building in this three with Segur sitting back as a right-sided centre-back almost, and free in the space for Miller.
Now Miller again down this right side, cross incoming. Yeah, Flores.
I mean, I see Olwashe's looking, he's saying pick me out the edge of the box, but I'm speaking for Jesse Marsh, but I don't think he wants him to be there. He wants him to be where the ball was delivered to, in the box, trying to get on the end of it.
Jonathan David, 1 goal away from 40 for his country. Popping up all over the pitch. Oluwaseyi towards Flores, just ahead of him. Oluwaseyi chasing down the lost cause in front of Chamak, and nearly able to turn it over for Canada. Stevie, what's different from what we saw from Canada in that first half against Iceland?
A lot. The shape's very different. It's this three build at the back, and then you've got a bit of a box in the middle of the park, Joe. And if you see at the moment, it's Flores and David who are making up the top of the box, trying to compromise Khedira and Scarey to keep them back, to allow space for Saliba and Kone to play. And it's been Larea inside a lot of the times and Flores wide, but they're mixing it up on this left-hand side. And it's kind of working for them in possession, and even though they've not had a ton of joy from it yet, but you see the football there that creates the space.
Flores into that space. Flores chopping it back onto his right, hanging it up at the back post. No one really jumping for it for Canada. And now it's Waterman who dives in, and Miller's on his bike to try and prevent the last gasp. Now it's a 2-on-0. El Taif, he's going to square it across to Saad, and what a block by Liam Miller. Absolutely brilliant on his bike and denying an opener for Tunisia.
What a run back from Liam Miller. A forward-thinking player just never gives up on this play. He makes sure that he puts in the hard yards, and the off chance that he can make a heroic play like he does. This is incredible. Look at him. He never thinks that this is a lost cause. He's on it all the way, and El Taif with a good ball maybe puts him a little bit wide. And Saeed, even though he's stretching, I'm sure his eyes light up. He thinks he's got the opening goal, but for the work from Liam Miller. Tremendous stuff.
That has got to get Jesse Marsh fired up than almost anything else that happens on the pitch. Liam Miller. Unbelievable.
Oh, it was a disaster from Waterman though, John. His decision to go in was totally wrong.
First corner of the match for Tunisia. Miller heading it away. Flores can't head the second ball away, and it's El Taif on it for Tunisia. Fadi across. And the Tunisians will regain their shape. 10 minutes left to go in this first half. 0-0. Canada and Tunisia, largely thanks to that man, Liam Miller. Cut down by Saad, and excuse me, that is Ali Abdi.
Yeah, decision making has been off from the centre backs tonight. Waterman there going in, that led to that great block from Liam Miller. A wrong decision. Sometimes you got to delay, and they've been really vulnerable to the counter-attack. Then Kamal Miller was lucky, John, because he impeded the striker. It was probably going to be a red card because they had the 2-on-1 that was allowed to play on. So Canada really let off the hook there by, or saved I should say, probably by the right winger Liam Miller.
O'Shea can't win the header. Miller playing it off of Ben Farhat. Now El Taif, middle of the park, just ahead of Saad. And it's going to be a throw for Canada. Safiella El Taif, he has been all over the pitch for Tunisia as well. Number 23, plying his trade at Greuther Fürth in Bundesliga 2 in Germany. Now Rekik going for a run right into Sigur. Waterman slamming that in the direction of Jonathan David. Abdi is turning right into Liam Miller's path, who's been the standout player for Canada in this first.
Yeah, I would say Miller's having a good half. I also think Flores on the opposite side has done pretty well. And really, Canada have been good. I would say the sort of shakiness has came from the centre backs.
Miller trying to chop in between two Tunisian defenders. Doesn't come off. Now Khedira going long towards El Taif. In between Waterman and Miller. Sigur trying to double up El Taif. Trying to get away from Waterman, who leans on him. And it's a turnover from Canada, going back the other way. Abdi. Top of the box, Ben Farhat. Saliba in the way. Now the captain, Skiri. Tunisia have really had the more of the ball since that Liam Miller defensive intervention. Is Nafati going to ground trying to win a throw, and he does, and Richie Larea baffled by that decision.
Yeah, wins a free kick, but I thought it was. Larea's got his arm out now. Waterman's got a problem. Is he holding on to the hamstring as well? It's after this run where he's stretching all the way. He just about does enough without giving away a penalty, but it's a close one. Just gets his body in, beaten for pace by El Taif, who's been the liveliest player for Tunisia.
Waterman up, trying to stay in the match for the moment. It's Saad. The Tunisian fans going wild. Elia Saad, ball inside, headed away by Sigur. Abdi trying to hit it first time. Scruffy attempt. Played down the line by Sigur. Miller can't get on the end of it, but it drops to Canada. Flores under all kinds of pressure from Khedira and wins a free kick.
Now, what a ball from Coney. Just no thought. Left foot right into the feet of Flores. And what a take by the Tigres man. He takes it in his stride. He's positive enough. He's trying to get away from the defender. Can't overestimate how important that is. Plays like that just take them up the field and changes the complex of the game.
Here's Kone again to Miller. Liam Miller slamming a ball inside over the head. Flores settling it down. Flores slamming it off of the Tunisian leg. Saliba recouping possession though. Joel Waterman looking no worse for wear. Now Jonathan David, he's been all over the pitch. Can't get that ball past Nafati.
Don't mind that though. Like him trying that pass. Larea keeps making that run. Keep rewarding it by trying to get that inside run and the ball into the path of Larea or Flores.
And Slimani trying to put pressure on Waterman. Miller over the top towards Larea. Flag staying down. Larea to Saliba. Clipped inside, headed away by Rekik.
It was a great header. Lovely little ball from Saliba.
Another turnover, middle of the park by Tunisia. Miller. Sigur continuing his run, gets it. And it's a sprawling challenge by Graham. And it's going to be another corner kick as we get closer and closer to the end of this first half.
Inventive football though, isn't it? It's been a good half for Canada. I know they've got off the hook with that breakaway when Liam Miller made the sensational block challenge. But at times has been really good football. They've played at a good tempo and they're stretching a really excellent, well-organised defensive team in Tunisia.
Referee seeing something he doesn't like, and Kamal Miller will be beckoned for a conversation. Now Marcelo Flores. He's had some good deliveries so far from corner kicks. Hanging up in the air. I believe went off of Tani Oluwaseyi at the last moment, and it'll be a goal kick. Stevie, if you're Jesse Marsh going into this half, how exactly do you feel really about how your team has played, outside of course, the Liam Miller defensive intervention right at the last moment?
Yeah, there's always good and bad, isn't there? But I think overall he'll be delighted with the way that his team's played. I think he'll have hoped that maybe they could create a few more chances, but they have had little half chances here and there, and their football's been really good. Two midfielders look way more comfortable, Kone and Saliba. Wide guys are playing well. I would say it's the back line and the counter-attack he'll be worried about, John. He'll be trying to fix a few things there to maybe try and get some support for the defenders, or to sharpen them up concentration-wise, to make sure that probably as some more quality comes on for Tunisia, if they get the same openings that they've got in the first half, they're going to get a goal or two.
Less than 90 seconds remaining in this first half. We're expecting 2 minutes of added time to close out a late kickoff, thanks to some thunder and lightning in the area. But both teams have been at it since the first whistle. Now Saad to Abdi and Slimani back towards Abdi, trying to get the better of Kone, and some real power there from the Sassuolo man. Now Flores inside to Oluwaseyi. Excuse me, that was Liam Miller. Now Flores here out on this left side. Hard to miss with the red coif. Kone to Miller. He's had plenty of space, plenty of joy down this right side. Back to Sigur. Miller again, weighing up across towards Oluwaseyi. And they'll go out for a Canada throw.
Probably one disappointment is the number of times Canada have got in wide areas and have not delivered the right ball. Not been enough quality on that cross. I'll give Larea the benefit of the doubt on his left foot, but Liam Miller a few times, he's had a good half. Should have more quality as he's putting it in, especially with the space and time he was afforded there.
Miller now with a long throw towards Oluwaseyi, headed away by Skiri. Sigur in a battle with Ben Farhat. Miller across to clean up. Kone to David. Ismail Kone getting the ball back in the 18. Kone just put off at the last moment by Skiri.
Yeah, just trying to be a bit too clever. Lovely run. Another little inside run that was effective. The pass was weighted well by David. And Kone trying to be a bit too clever. Just fizz it across. Hope that someone gets a toe in the end of it.
Miller can't keep it in. Both teams still waiting on that big chance created out of normal play after it was Saad who seemed like he was going to have a tap in at the near post, but Liam Miller across to deny him. It's really been all that Tunisia have been able to muster so far today. Canada with all their possession, 62% the last we checked. Unable to trouble what has been a stubborn team to break down. One last chance to close out this first half. Maybe. No, that is it. Deems our referee Kayla Herrera. Liam Miller, the star of the show defensively. Just a heroic track back to deny an opener for Tunisia, but still waiting on that chance, even really that half chance for the Canadians. Plenty of the ball, still needing to find something to do with it as it finishes 0-0 at the half at BMO Field.
This presentation of Canada Soccer on TSN is brought to you by Allstate.
Everybody wants super straight, super white teeth. They want that Hollywood white smile. Sensodyne Clinical White provides 2 shades whiter teeth and 24/7 sensitivity protection. I think it's a great product. It's going to help a lot of patients.
This is the new face of P790 with a bigger sweet spot and individually optimized for improved distance, feel, and consistency. Get P-Series fit for the all-new P790 from TaylorMade.
Eastside Mario's Daily Deals are here with a purchase of a beverage. Join us on Monday for all-you-can-eat pasta for $19.99. Wednesday, buy any dinner, entree, or pasta and take a pasta home free. That's right, free. Thursday, 3-course dinner for 2 for $50. Only at Eastside Mario's.
For over 100 years, Leon's has been making Canadians comfortable. From milestone moments to the days you didn't want to get off the couch, we've been right there with you every day, making every part of your house feel like home. And while styles may come and go, and tastes will continue to change, one thing that's always stayed the same is our commitment to our customers, our community, and our country.
You forget the rest when you bring out the best.
For some, less is more. But the right details make it everything. Vibe, check. On Poshmark.
When it all comes together, it could mean you're ready to talk to your doctor about Wegovy. Ask for Wegovy by name. Visit wegovy.ca for savings.
Parents choose Bear Paws Active for halftime, made with no artificial flavors or colors. The little wins bring the biggest smiles. Bear Paws Active helps fuel them to keep going. Bear Paws Active helps fuel active kids.
Bring your space to life with a few elevated and unexpected touches. Everyday Inspired starts at Walmart.
This presentation of Canada Soccer on TSN is brought to you by Walmart.
The first thing I would say if someone asked me who am I before my injury was
I'm Liam Miller, the soccer player.
I think he's fallen awkwardly.
I just heard a big crack.
He looks worried.
When you're known as one thing your whole life, to have that just taken away from you, you really go through an identity crisis.
Nothing was getting better. I fully lost myself because I didn't know who I was. What if I'm not the same? What if I'm not me anymore? What if I don't come back from this?
Your first half highlights presented by Walmart. That feature coming on TSN. We might have to do another feature on this play. Liam Miller going the full length of the field as Canada is in big trouble. A 2-on-0 for Tunisia. And a goal-saving, perhaps game-saving play by Liam Miller. Your highlights presented by Walmart as we welcome you to the halftime show. James Duthie alongside the former Canadian captain, Atiba Hutchinson, Jimmy Brennan from One Soccer, and the Irish national Kevin Kilban. Is that the kind of play by Miller, one play, that if you're a player on the fringe of maybe making the World Cup team, can make you make that play, make the team just on that play?
I think this gets him in. Solely, you can see the reaction from Jesse Marsh from it. It was absolutely phenomenal. And, you know, we have to give it the full treatment here, James, because it was absolutely incredible. The amount of ground that he made up. Mistake from Joel Waterman. Take nothing away. Terrible defending by Joel Waterman and Kamal Miller. Shouldn't get into this position. But even at this stage, James, he's gone the half length of the pitch here. He's still got 20, 30 yards to make up. But that never give up attitude. And look at that, 119-yard recovery run. Absolutely phenomenal, James.
That's exactly what Jesse Marsh wants, though, from his team. And you could see the whole way he was just thinking, a sense of danger. What if we don't win it here? What if we don't win it in this situation? He just continued his run and the momentum. And then once he got to the half, he just went, now I got to open up.
And the reaction by Marsh, just loving it on the sidelines, is absolutely spectacular. It also, though, highlights the play by Miller in the Iceland game, the play by Waterman here.
Yeah.
Man, they need Bumbito to somehow get healthy and be ready for June 12th. Besides that big mistake, a much better half than the first half against Iceland, what did you like?
I love the way that they were pressing. I love the areas that they got in. I thought Miller and Flores were brilliant out wide. And then Kone and Saliba were pinning the Tunisians in, so they could not get out at times. And just their movement in and around the box. I thought Flores was brilliant out wide, cutting inside, putting great balls into the box. Tanny was looking good as well. He's getting himself into some great areas. And I thought once he should have scored with that little layoff from David. Maybe he could have let it drop just a little bit more. And then obviously Jonathan David, just the way that he's floating all over the pitch, trying to find good areas. And again, another time, just because of their positional sense, they know exactly where they need to be. They've won the ball and got into great areas. And that one there, Atiba, I think maybe Miller should have taken it with his right foot rather than his left because it brought him inside.
Yeah, too much in the middle of his body. If he could have opened up a little bit more, it would have been maybe a bit better for him. But as you mentioned, Flores, you know, I was really pleased to see the way he's performed. You know, that's it's been a really good 45 minutes from him. You know, he just shows his creativity. He's comfortable getting the ball anywhere on the pitch. As a winger, normally a lot of players, you see them staying on the line, just touching the line, but he wants to get it everywhere and then just really go and make things happen. So it's nice to see a player of this creativity, you know, wearing our jersey.
He must have said I like him about 15 times during the first half.
We haven't seen a lot of him. Is he on the squad for the World Cup, do you think, at this point?
I think with that type of performance, I think there's been a lot to admire. I think Saliba's looked a lot better today as well, James, alongside Kone in the middle of the park. So there's a lot to admire about this performance. Better anyway.
They just can't shake this injury bug, though. It's crazy, and it's heartbreaking to watch Priso if it's something serious, because you really liked what you've seen in Vancouver, but you liked what you saw through the first 25 minutes.
Yeah, look, I felt so bad for him. 25 minutes and you're off, and I thought he was having a great game. Just the way that he was defending, sensing danger, reading the play very well. He was aggressive in his play, just the way that Jesse Marsh wants his center backs to be, nice and tight, look to win the ball, make sure that you're covering. And every time that ball was coming down the line, he was the first one over, and he had some crunching tackles as well. And again, he's looking to win the ball here, maybe overstretches just a little bit trying to clear the ball, but that's what Jesse wants, Kev, is his defenders to win those duels.
He does. He wants you to be committed, to step forward, to step into the ball. I think he actually covered the first one, this first clip we saw there. He's covering for Waterman, another mistake by Joel Waterman. And Joel Waterman and Kamal Miller together didn't play well Saturday, and the combination hasn't worked again. So I think Priso would have given them that better balance, I feel. I don't know how it's going to go for him. We hope it's not going to be a long-term injury, Atiba, but hopefully he'll be okay because I think he showed enough in that 25 minutes to suggest he should be involved.
He looked good. You know, he had a great start to the game, and you can see that the confidence was growing. He must have been really nervous. This is his first start, you know, for Canada, and he just really grew into the game, and it's just so unfortunate to see.
And we don't like to play doctor, but I always trust the players who seem to know. And if it's a hamstring, Alistair's been through this. There's obviously different degrees of hamstring injuries, but man, the reaction for Prizos looked like it felt like it was something more than just a mild pull there. The Advil halftime stats dominated by Canada, not just possession, but 9 shots to 3, 4 on target. Look at the corners, 5-1 for Canada, but still awaiting goal number 1. And Tunisia did get the best opportunity on that 2-on-0. Plenty of chances for Tanny and Canada, but nothing yet as we'll head towards the second. Scoreless from BMO.
This presentation of Canada Soccer on TSN is brought to you by BMO.
How are your investments doing?
That was on purpose. You know that topic always throws me off.
Lots of people feel that way. But don't worry, BMO's got advice to spare with any investment guidance and support you need.
I need some.
And you'll get it with personalized investing recommendations to help you feel confident in your decisions.
I'm curious. Do you roll as good as you help?
Bowling mode.
It's yes, by the way.
BMO.
From the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power, the Ego 22-inch aluminum deck mower with Select Cut is the most powerful mower in its class, featuring an aluminum deck that allows for extreme blade speeds, producing the perfect razor-sharp cut. Designed for durability that's guaranteed for life. All powered by Ego's patented 56-volt arc lithium battery. One battery powers all tools. Find an Ego retailer near you.
When pain stops you in your tracks, try new Voltacare Cooling Cream with 4 pain-fighting ingredients. And get fast cooling pain relief. New Voltacare Cooling Cream.
It takes resilience to perform at the highest level. You have to be durable. You have to be strong and reliable. So to answer your question, legendary performance starts with being consistent. On the field and at home.
It's so easy to align Spider. It's forgiving, it's stable, and it gives me a lot more confidence in my line.
The weighting and stability really helps me trust my stroke.
I truly love the feel that I get with the Spider.
What will Spider do for you?
Hey, Canada, we heard you have a roaming problem. A big, expensive problem. You deserve better. You deserve the Saily eSIM app. It's time for a vacation without budget-ripping roaming fees. Get your Saily deal now.
Gatorade. With electrolytes to help replenish what's lost in sweat. Carbs to help fuel your working muscles. And fluids to help you hydrate. Scientifically formulated so you never stop competing. Rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Gatorade, is it in you?
Get this. Switching your home and auto insurance to Allstate could save you over $1,100. But what exactly does that feel like? Combine your home and auto insurance and you could save more than $1,100.
Bring your space to life with a few elevated and unexpected touches. Every day inspired starts at Walmart.
This ultimate mouth-watering moment is brought to you by the big, bold, ultimate taste of Ultimate Chicken Hot Dogs, only from Maple Lodge Farms.
This presentation of Canada Soccer on TSN is brought to you by the Canadian Premier League.
Hard to believe it happened again to Italy, losing in penalties after they played short for most of the game. And it's Canada and Bosnia-Herzegovina in the opener of the World Cup in Canada, June 12th, 3 o'clock Eastern. We'll be on the air for an extended pregame to get ready for that historic night. Kids figured they'd be home by now in bed, but that's what you get when you get an hour and 15-minute rain delay, and they await goal number 1. Second half now with John and Steve.
Maybe taking the day off there. The kids who are sticking around, great crowd tonight at BMO Field, staying in throughout the weather delay, and now getting ready to see hopefully a breakthrough in the second half. 0-0 between Canada and Tunisia. Let's get to the Bear Paws keys to the second half, Stevie, as we get ready for the last 45 minutes for Canada at BMO Field before the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, it's the last time at BMO Field before the World Cup, so it's the last impressions there as you just see Nelly Furtado enjoying the game. And it's important that these last impressions are set. You know, if you're on the outside of the squad, you're trying to get in the 11, depending on where you are in Jesse Marsh's mind. It's an important game to finish off strong, do the business, play to the best of your abilities to make sure that you're there and you don't miss out on the home World Cup.
Double change for Tunisia. We'll get that to you in just a moment as we are getting underway for this second half here on TSN. Glad you could join us as Ismail Kone back to Joel Waterman, all the way back to Maxime Crépeau. And Kamal Miller will have his first touch of this second half. Flores. He's cut down there rather cynically, and it's going to be a very early yellow card into the second half.
Yeah, it's a youngster, Sayari, John, who just takes a swipe at Flores here. It's a little bit silly, actually, from the young man. Exciting player, 21 years old in the Paris Saint-Germain system. Of course, not quite in the first team yet, but he is a wonderful player. Watched them on Saturday night and plays off the right, loves to come inside, left-footed, plays little combinations, will improve the attack in the second half, I feel, as Liam Miller does well to win a corner. And then on the other side, the Celtic man, Tenecti, who's also a talented player, got the goal against Haiti a few days ago.
His first goal for the national team, Sebastian Tenecti, and Marcelo Flores playing it short to Miller. Liam Miller to the top of the box, and Jonathan David swung and missed. Great win there by Richie Larea. Kamal Miller, Jonathan David, back to Miller, cross incoming, just over the head of Oluwaseyi.
Good ball though from Miller. That's what they need. Every cross has been along the ground, especially from Liam Miller. It's been cut back a lot, but centre back Kamal Miller there, up forward on the left, perfect ball.
Now Larea taking players on, hanging one up towards the back post, headed away by Abdi. Saliba trying to catch it on the half volley, but could never keep it down.
Tough technique, but I don't mind that. I think when you get onto that one, rather than play it safe, have a go, you just never know. Speculative ball, but I love how Saliba reads it. Really tough technique, just gets underneath it where he's got to really work hard to keep his head and his knee over the top of the ball.
Canada so much better in the second half versus Iceland, but certainly a strong first half. We'll see if they can continue it into the second as Saliba crosses the midfield stripe.
Still problems getting Jonathan David into the game tonight. He's not had enough touches, trying to operate in their little spaces as he gets a touch there, but it's been really difficult for Canada to get their main man in the right positions, facing forward, to be effective, either through providing things for others or finishing it off himself.
Tenecti leading the line for Tunisia. unchanged 11 for Jesse Marsh going into the second half. Flores. 1-on-1 with Ayari. Crossing coming towards Miller. And he gives a thumbs up for that idea from the Tigres man.
Great idea. You got it right, John. That was what was so impressive about that. He saw exactly what he was trying to do. He just didn't quite pull off the pinpoint cross, but the movement from Liam Miller, the willingness to try and get in at the far post as a wide man, I love to see. And then the other wide man recognising that and trying to find his teammate.
Marcelo Flores taking a claim to potentially get a start in June. Kamal Miller trying to link up with Flores in the space that was left by Jonathan David. But it goes right to Chamak. Skiri. Graham. Fati inside to Kadira. The touch took the ball away from him. Maxime Crépeau trying to release Marcelo Flores. Graham just at the last moment goes off Flores. Can he keep it in at the corner flag? Just does. And Graham is forced to concede a throw that Flores takes quickly to Jonathan David. No foul given. Ayari under pressure from Flores. Oluwaseyi, Jonathan David all swarming on the PSG boy. And Oluwaseyi called for the foul.
It's another needless one though from Tani Oluwaseyi. Going nowhere, Ayari. Young and inexperienced. It's just clumsy, isn't it? He just comes in, catches the ankle. He doesn't have to make the challenge. He's got to just be patient there. They've kind of penned Ayari deep into his bottom corner. Just keep him there.
Nearly able to turn it over in front of Skiri. Ayari away from Larea for the moment. Saliba though winning the ball from Skiri. Canada with body streaming forward here. Larea, can he get away from the Tunisian captain? Richie Larea taking it on his own. One too many touches.
He did the hard part, cutting back, he created the space. It's when you have to be decisive, pick out the pass, have a shot at goal, do something positive. You don't need to beat the man again. And unfortunately, great work from Larea. The run and the first piece of skill just comes to nothing.
Bit harsh on Joel Waterman there.
Yeah, I thought he got a bit of the ball.
Now it's Tunekti inside towards Sad. Lovely flick on to Tunekti. Kadira, top of the box, bit of a heavy touch, gets it across. And Ayari could not keep it down. Probably the best team move of the match for Tunisia.
Yeah, Kadira's touch just lets him down, because if he brings us in, he's got a clear shot at goal and he just lets it get away from him, but he does enough to nick it out to Ayari. And you would expect him to do better, John, coming onto that with his left foot. He's got to get over the top of it, keep it on target. Wasteful from the young PSG man.
Khalil Ayari, just his second cap for his country, came on as a substitute against Haiti. Saliba now. Inside to Flores. Marcelo Flores and Jonathan David have been all over the pitch so far for Canada. Miller can't link up with Flores, middle of the park, off of Saad. And David with the quick throw to Miller. William Miller taking on Abdi for pace! Just knocked away by Chamak at the last moment.
Terrific work from Liam Miller. Drives forward, his little touch there and change of pace was perfect. The ball was good. And then a foul there from Waterman, who gets the yellow card. He's down, he's hurt, he's holding on to his face.
That collision with Saad was...
Yeah, he comes flying in here, Waterman, and he gets done with a piece of skill from Elias Saad. And it's a definite yellow, and too many times tonight Waterman's tried to step into things and be assertive, but it's not worked out. He's made the wrong decisions. Osorio looks like he might be coming back. Is Jebison? Is it anyone else? Yeah, Cornelius, Osorio and Jebison being called back from Jesse Marsh as we see that lovely piece of skill from Liam Miller. Daniel O'Shea's in the vicinity, in fairness to the keeper. Don't know if he means to spill it, but he pushes it out far enough, Shamak, that it's away from Daniel O'Shea, who's lurking in and around the 6-yard box.
So it looks like, yes, that triple substitution will be coming for Canada, and a little bit. Free kick taken short by Tunisia. Skirioing all the way back to Alagram, the Shakhtar Donetsk man. And three Tunisian subs, excuse me, coming on as Miller. Looked like he had just let in a physical challenge there, but was called for the foul.
That was a great tackle. I thought he made the ball perfectly well. It was physical, yes. There was a little bit of contact between the players, but I don't know how that's allowed Jesse Marsh getting involved there. He's on the pitch as well. Ewan Sharp, the assistant coach, just pull him away, which is quite a smart thing. Yeah, I can't believe it. It wasn't a foul. Referees gave a couple of ones like that tonight where maybe could have let it go a little bit more, and we see one of the subs there, Vancouver Whitecaps, Ryan Illumi.
Ryan Illumi was in the Canadian camp in January. Came on against Guatemala, but was deemed a tier below.
I think it's a bit of a loss for Canada. Let's see how it turns out, but he had his choice between Tunisia and Canada, and unfortunately for the Canadians he's chose the African side. He's a player I think has a lot of potential.
Good switch of play here from Tunisia, and Abdi playing the ball behind Ben Slimani. Now Kone striding further forward. Kone cut down by Abdi. And we'll see if Canada are going to whip this into the box, and it does appear like that's exactly what's going to happen. Is triple change up coming for both sides along the touchline. At the back, Ben Hamida coming on. Coming off is Ali Abdi. Coming off is Ali Abdi. Ryan Illumi also coming on, as you said, and so is midfielder Haj Mahmoud. It's going to be Nafati coming off for Tunisia as well. So wholesale changes made just 10 minutes into the second half for both sides. And Derek Cornelius coming on for Joel Waterman. He's been out in the cold for Rangers. And Daniel Jemison coming on after winning a crucial penalty for Canada against Iceland. And Nathan Saliba off for Jonathan Osorio.
He's trained well all week, Jebison, and did quite well coming off the bench. That one bit of skill that led to the penalty, equalising penalty. He deserves his chance. Interesting that he's on before Kyle Larin.
Canada trying something intricate. Flores, as Jemison going, Cornelius, excuse me, going for the bicycle kick. Kone. Inside to David. Back to Ishmael Kone. Larea had continued his run. Didn't get the ball back, and looked like Kone had won that throw for Canada, but the linesman disagrees.
A sloppy pass from Jonathan David. Back to Kone. He did ever so well to, I think, win that back, just knock it off the player that should have been a Canada throw in on that far side. Some little signs of fatigue, maybe a bit of sloppiness creeping in to Canada's game a touch.
Scary. All kinds of pressure. Captain on captain crime there. Jebison able to turn, show off that spectacular pace. Daniel Jebison towards the byline, hanging one up, and right idea, but Chamak was able to claim.
Yeah, I don't know if he got the technique right. Unsure what he was trying to find. Maybe it was Miller, but not a lot of options. He had Miller at the back post, David kind of hanging out around the penalty spot. After a really positive run, it was a little bit of an in-between cross.
Inside to Denekti. Dispossessed by Segur. Now Jebison. Laying it off to Osorio. The TFC captain. Right at home. Cornelius. Miller. Larea. Back towards Kone. Bit more cagey in the second half between the two sides.
It slowed down a bit. Canada are trying to delay. It looks like they're still kind of working things out the second half as Tunisia made the subs. Little clip there from Kone. I felt like they've got in their own heads a bit here, John. They're just kind of slowing it down too much, standing on the ball. The movements stopped a touch, and the fluidity of play is not quite theirs. We see Miller's mistake that leads to this foul from Kone. Coughs up possession to the African team.
Ben Hamida couldn't get past the Canadian right flank. Denekti towards Ben Hamida, substitute. Cornelius able to turn back Tunisia. Skiri switching play to Ayari. Ayari beating Larea towards the byline. Goes over in the 18, and that is absolutely going to be a foul against the youngster as he and Richie Larea get into it.
No, Larea was absolutely skinned there by Ayari in the first place. Look at that skill. Couple of yards. I just don't know again, why complicate it? Fizz it across the box. He tries to cut back and beat Larea again. Not a penalty, goes over too easy, and then a little bit extras there as Larea's fighting for the ball, trying to wind up the youngster. But little sign that if Tunisia get the ball to Ayari 1v1, Larea, who's very rarely beaten, might just have a challenge against the extremely skillful young wide man.
Looks like they have quite the talent there, Tunisia. Some talent on the flanks in El Taif, Denekti, and now Ayari.
What a ball that was from Flores into David, who actually received it well but couldn't find the pass. Flores just continues to impress me with his talent.
It'll be tough to unseat Ali Ahmed, but to certainly give a good accounting of himself in his first moments in a Canadian shirt. Miller turns it over to Ben Slimani. Towards Ayari, just ahead of the PSG man. Kone in between two Tunisians, fouled by Khedira. with the substitutions, Cornelius for Waterman, Jebison on for Oluwaseyi, and Osorio on for Saliba. They're like for like positionally, but specifically Osorio, just what does he bring differently next to Kone in the middle of the park?
Yeah, I mean, Saliba had a great game. I was very impressed with his performance after being a bit disappointed and underwhelmed with Saturday. Saliba's a player I've got a lot of time for. I think he has so many attributes, but more like himself tonight. Maybe he was starting to tire. Osorio can bring a bit of control. He's got tactical acumen as well, John. I think as the game gets stretched, he sort of picks the right options, but they've got to keep the pace and the tempo high. Canada, it's dropped off, and when that happens, they look like a mediocre team. When pace is high, they look effective. Cornelius is maybe the only one that's not quite like for like, because he's a left-footed centre-back playing on the right, but he has the experience to deal with that.
Osorio nearly picking off that ball, destined for Ben Slimani. Graham now playing for Shakhtar Donetsk in the Ukrainian Premier League. Ala Graham. Skiri towards the substitute Ben Hamida. Segur stepping in front of Tenekti, and that's played out into touch in front of Liam Miller. 65 minutes gone, still 0-0 between Canada and Tunisia. And Canada still yet to really create that big chance. And the Tunisians trying to beckon their team forward from the stands. Skiri. Dropping back deep. Graham to Chamak. Canada not pressing as highly up the pitch for the moment.
Going to go a bit quicker there. Flores read that really well. He's a bit higher in this second half, pressing in more of a three with Flores, Jebison and David now. But once Flores goes and it starts to come back square, then that's when Jebison or David needs to go full out. Didn't quite happen, unfortunately, for the youngster who's having a terrific match out in the left, Marcelo Flores.
Fourth official Brian Cruz getting an earful from the Tunisian coaching staff. Flores towards Larea. Richie Larea. Ball towards Jebison, just in behind him. Clearance cut out by Miller. Kamal Miller, one too many touches. And now it's Ayari going back the other way. Khalil Ayari trying to switch play towards Tenekti. He's got Ben Slimani on the outskirts, but great tackle there by Nico Segur as the game opens up. Kone, all kinds of grass to run into. To Flores. Marcelo Flores. Chopping and changing. Cross in. Graham easily clears that in front of Jebison.
He probably needed that a bit quicker, Flores, because by the time it got to him, he was doubled up. It was really difficult to beat the two men. Did well enough to get enough space to get the cross in, but maybe an opportunity that could have been out to him a touch quicker.
Flores, Villayari. Stade Tunisien man getting the better of that. Stevie, who's the player who needs to pick the lock here for Canada?
Oh, what a question. I've got a feeling it's this man on the ball. He's enjoying himself out there. He's just so much talent.
Kone going for a mazy run, pokes it out to Segur. Miller trying to get the 1-2 from Kone. Bounce favors Ben Slimani.
Well done, Osorio.
Now Jonathan David hasn't got enough touches in the box. Flores skipping away from two Tunisians. Marcelo Flores trying to slalom inside, couldn't. Game getting sloppy here.
Concerted pressure though from Canada. They're going to keep the tempo high.
Osorio back to Cornelius, switching places with Kamal Miller. Osorio into David. Jonathan David couldn't control it with Graham all over his back, but Canada getting the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, it was
on
like
the throw.
It was phase after phase there, and it was, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 phases, and then Canada just slowed it down a bit too much. That's where the tempo has to remain high. Take some chances, play some balls into the half spaces, into forwards' feet. See what comes from it. They almost allowed Tunisia off the hook by just slowing the tempo and giving them a breather.
So it's going to be Rani Khedira coming off. And it is going to be Ismail Garbi. So like for like in the middle of the park.
Garbi, good player.
For Sabri Lamouchi.
Garbi, more attacking player than Khedira. He's someone that can unlock the door. He's going to be a danger for Canada, particularly on the counter-attack.
Throw towards Jebison, keeping it in front of the byline. Jebison can't hold the ball. Yari closed off by both Jebison and Larea. And a push in the back, giving the free kick to Tunisia. Yari back to his feet.
I'd have liked to have seen this battle from the start of the game. Larea and Ayari. Could have been a spicy one. Both passionate, combustible players.
Combustible, the right way to describe Richie Larea.
Well, Larea is combustible, but he's always in control, I'll say that. And most of the time he's trying to wind up his opposite player. There's not a lot in it. Ayari goes over easy, but it is a foul, and Larea's got something to say. It's the way he likes to play on the edge, get under people's skin, and it works a lot of the time. But Ayari is a tricky customer. He's someone that has proven already that he has the sleight of foot and the swiftness of the hips, the movement, the drop of the shoulder to give Larea some problems.
Trying to turn away from Osorio. And it comes to Ayari. Sliding challenge by Kone.
Kone again, he's did that a few times defensively, just eats up the ground, and he's in the space, nicks the ball off the toes of a Tunisian player, or makes a challenge like he does there. What a terrific night he's had, showing again how he's become so important for Canada.
Kick going right into the teeth of Canada, and couldn't play it out to Ben Hamida. Less than 20 minutes left to go. Still 0-0 between Canada and Tunisia. The lone big chance of the match going the way of the Tunisians, as Elias Saad had a wide open net, but Liam Miller made up 40 yards worth of ground to sprawl out and deny Tunisia an opener. Canada, we're still waiting to see whether they breakthrough. Maybe this man, Marcelo Flores, into the 18 to Jebison, laying it off. Osorio! And it's a crucial block in the middle of the park. And a corner upcoming for Canada.
Now Flores again, get him the ball early, comes inside Ayari too easily. Then a good ball to Jebson, does the right thing, lays it off. There's a lot of bodies to come through. Osorio, not an easy one, he hits the target, but Tunisia, we've said a few times tonight how well they are defensively, how well set up they are, and yet again, bodies in front of the ball to make the block.
Marcelo Flores making himself known to Canada fans, couldn't get it past Skiri. Sigur going in for that challenge. Jebison going over. Staying down on the pitch.
I think it was Cornelius. He fancied the free kick, didn't he? In a perfect area for him to hit it.
Miller skipping through challenges, goes over! And he's going to be called for simulation.
Yeah. Wry smile from Liam Miller. Hard to tell. On first look, Jesse Mars believes it's a penalty, but just about as far away as we are, we couldn't really tell. It did look like he had the beating of the defender, and he was goal side. Let's see here, over too easily, isn't he? Ayari knows what's happening. It's a bit of a dive. I don't know if it's enough to caution him for simulation, but it's not a penalty kick in my eyes.
2 pens for Canada against Iceland, none so far. Miller in a battle with Alumi. Alumi trying to keep it in along the touchline towards Ayari. Goes off of Kamal Miller. And it's going to be even more substitutions coming on for Canada. Quadruple sub upcoming after this throw from Tunisia. Oh, referee being called back by his fourth official. Bit of confusion going on here about what to do, and finally it is going to be the quadruple sub coming on. So it's going to be Marcelo Flores after a terrific first start for Canada. He'll be coming off for Ali Ahmed. That'll be an interesting battle to follow between now and June. Richie Larea coming off for Shaquille Marshall-Ruddy. Jason Russell-Rowe, the Nice man, coming on for Jonathan David. Junior Hoylett coming on as well for Canada.
Miller had a great game, but Marcelo Flores stole the show. David was a little lacklustre and not in the game enough again tonight. Still a concern how Canada gets their best player more involved in the match. And then Larea was excellent. Adds that determination and spirit, I guess, to this team. And it's good to see some of the names out there. Hoylett can unlock a door. You mentioned that earlier, John, who cannot lock the door, but he's a player that's done it in the past many times. I'm pleased to see Jason Russell-Rowe get a chance for, I don't know what, 14 minutes plus time added on.
So Russell-Rowe and Jebison up top. Plenty of speed and physicality there for Canada. And Shaquille Marshall-Ruddy, he's had a pretty solid start to life with Michael Bradley and the New York Red Bulls. Ben Hamida can link up with a teammate inside, cut off by Osorio. Hoylett towards Russell-Rowe. Russell-Rowe going over, and finally the foul called.
He's pulled on the arm. Ali Ahmed, we know we'll get from him on the left-hand side. Junior Hoylett, a little bit different. I think he'll probably tuck in a bit more, try and play a bit more in the pockets. We'll see. And Marshall-Ruddy will continue that sort of left side role, inverted at times, that we saw from Richie Larea.
Plenty of energy on for the final 15 minutes here at BMO Field. Can Canada trouble this young Tunisian back line? Tenekti skipping away from Junior Hoylett. He's only played one match with Alistair Johnson at Celtic. That was the match where he re-aggravated his hamstring injury in the Europa League. He's been quiet since coming on, but just like Ayari, can be a real troublesome player to have to deal with.
I often find the changes in these international games can have two different kinds of effect. They can have a real positive effect, and you start to see, you know, a renewed energy, or it kind of slows the game down and it becomes a little bit broken. So hopefully, with all the changes, Canada can have, in the last 10-12 minutes here, a real go to get a winner and send these Toronto fans home happy. Next time, of course, they'll be playing in Toronto, will be June 12th against Bosnia.
First couple touches for Hoylett have been pretty good, as he puts one across the 6-yard box and wins a corner for Canada. Junior Hoylett, 1 goal away from breaking a tie with Tosin Ricketts for 7th most in Canadian men's national team history. And Tunisia doing some interesting things off the ball, as they're sending 2 players very high up the pitch.
Yeah, interesting.
To potentially catch Canada on the break and
try and pin them back, keep players back and out the box. Interesting tactic. I don't know why teams don't do it more in this modern age of set pieces being the trend within the global game.
Hoylett towards the near post. Miller trying to get a touch on it. Looked like it had gone off of Skiri.
Yeah, I thought it did. I thought there was a little deflection off Skiri's body there. Not a great delivery from Junior Hoylett. Yeah, it looked like another corner, didn't it?
Ten minutes left to go. Canada's best players from the match on the bench, but can someone show Jesse Marsh why they deserve to be someone to be counted upon in June? Ben Hamida fouled. Long ball played towards Tenekti, cut out by Segur. Cornelius towards Osorio, poking it to Kone. Jevison ahead of him. Good touch. Driving inside, switching it out to Ali Ahmed. Ahmed in front of Ayari. Poking it back to Osorio, back to Ahmed. Shooting position, and it's right down the gut at Chamak.
Good play. Yeah, it was good. Really good. Some lovely work done by Jebison, his movement, and then keeping hold of the ball. Great pass out to the left-hand side. Ahmed, in fairness, coming inside. The main thing is hit the target. It was just a little too safe and straight at Chamak. There's another counter-attack chance.
Turnover by Tunisia. Hoylett again. That one from well out. Ambitious, to say the least.
Yeah, that was the word I was going to use, John. Ambitious. But hit the target.
Feels for Canada like it's going to have to almost be either a goal of the highest order or the scruffiest. Another turnover by Tunisia. Very sloppy at the back right now. Hoylett caught on the ball by Ben Hamida. Kone poking it out to Russell Rowe. All kinds of space ahead of him. Can he pick the right decision? Russell Rowe right at Chamak.
No, can't pick the right decision. Never looked totally decided in his own head what he wanted to do, and in the end it was just a speculative ball into the box. It was easily dealt with by Chamak.
Long ball played towards Ben Slimani. He's been quiet as well. Ahmed under all kinds of pressure by Haj Mahmoud. Easy enough call by the referee. As Ahmed playing a little bit further inside, as he and Marshall Ruddy switch, and Ahmed getting the ball along the touchline. Ahmed to Kone. Ishmael Kone to Russell Rowe, wanting the ball back. Couldn't clip it back inside to Kone.
Yeah, but again, it was just kind of hitting hope from Russell Rowe. He's got to be better at it. He's got to be more precise. Just on the game, not quite up to the speed, but a couple of times now he should have done better with some good football and space to do so.
aside. Trying an eye and lead a ball, but wins it back for the moment from his teammate. And now a turnover by Segur, and it's Tunekti going back the other way. Segur able to make up the ground. Tunekti trying to spin away from him towards the byline, squaring it across the 6-yard box. There's no one there for Tunisia, and Canada with the let-off.
Ayari ball watching, John. He's just watching the good work by Tunekti. Instead of getting in at that far post, he's got a tap in. Thankfully for Canada, Osorio wasn't. He was in a good spot, but a mistake from Segur, who's been a little indecisive again tonight. In fairness to him, he does so well to get back to Tunekti in the first place. Then he's done a little bit there by the movement. Nobody in white gambling for a tap-in.
Cornelius, good ball to Russell Rowe. Now to Hoylett on this right side. Junior Hoylett, the number 10, to Russell Rowe. Can he keep it in at the byline? No, too much on that pass from the Swindon Town man. As another substitution upcoming here for Tunisia. As we're going to see the introduction of Firas Chawat. And he's going to come on for Alagram. So Chawat with a substitution at the back line.
That's attacking sub by Tunisia. Not long to go, but still have intent to go try win this game. Scary will drop into the back line where Graham was. And Chawat will go up top. It'll be more of a two up top now. A 4-4-2 with Alumi and Chawat. The strikers Tunekti and Ayari. Out and out wingers and wide men.
So Lumi and Chawat leading the line for Tunisia. I mean, a lot more defensive work for Ayari, but he gets the ball presented to him there by Osorio. Ayari playing it down the right side to Mahmoud. Cross incoming. And asking a lot of Alumi to do something with that. Russell Rowe to Osorio in plenty of space. Ahmed on the left side. Jevison streaming through the middle. Gets it. Jevison one-on-one with Rekic. Jevison stomping up, taking it to the byline. Cross incoming. Couldn't get it past him. Cleared by Tunisia.
It was a tough one. He was sent a bit wide. Lovely move. Russell Rowe's first ball to Osorio. Superb. Osorio quickly to get Jebison into a position, but he had a bit to do. I just thought he could have maybe just moved it half a yard, either inside or outside, and had the shot across the goalkeeper.
Kone moving higher up the pitch now. Miller to Ali Ahmed. Kone gets it, trying to play it back to Ahmed. Too far ahead of him. Kamal Miller, good win in front of Chawat. Hoylett shifting it out to Ahmed. Feels like he's the man. Ali Ahmed inside.
No, good defending. Just does enough there.
Mahmoud getting just in front of him at the last moment. Cornelius winning the header, but deemed to have pushed Chawat in the back.
There's a few times Canada have gotten promising positions, but again, you see why this team are so good. Just does enough. I mean, it's clumsy and it's not exactly pretty defending, but it's effective and it's not a penalty kick. Just never allows Ahmed to get goal side of him. Knows exactly what he's trying to do. You see a bit
of
an issue for him. Maybe it's just cramp. It's been an attacking night.
Stevie, is this the way you saw this game playing out?
Totally, John. It's a good defensive side, as are Canada. Saturday was a bit of an anomaly where they sort of made mistakes and 2-0 down at half-time, but under Jesse Marsh they've been pretty solid defensively, and He knew it was going to be a game of few real chances. Tunisia have had the best one of the game. Liam Miller made the best defensive play. And overall, I think no side's done enough to really warrant the victory.
Canada have allowed just 8 goals in all of 2025. It looks like it's going to be that same stubborn backline from both teams. Can Canada just do something to fashion one last chance? Segur to Hoylett. Osorio skipping in between bodies to Hoylett. Canada trying to make something happen at the death. And that's a crucial tackle by Rekic to put his body on the line.
It's a great tackle. This is wonderful work from Osorio. Look at his feet, and then the pass is perfect weight. And maybe just lacking a bit of pace because Hoylett had to take that other touch, but allowed Rekic to make the play. But it's at the expense of a corner. Junior Hoylett usually on the button with his delivery. Can he get this one right?
Junior Hoylett. He's got Segur short if he wants him. Decides to get it towards the near post, and that's another poor delivery by Hoylett from the corner. 2 minutes of added time. And Hoylett skying one in the direction of Russell Rowe. Skiri laying it off to Mahmoud. Both sides with 90 seconds of added time left to go. Seemingly comfortable with the way this one played out.
Yeah, I think they both had a go, John, but neither really having the quality to go on and win the thing. Really a pretty fair result. A 0-0 draw.
And Slimani towards Ayari. Good cutout by Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy. Goes off of he and Ali Ahmed. Doesn't get the foul. And Ben Slimani able to turn in the middle of the park. And Hamida, not deemed to have been fouled by Hoylett, continues going. Tenekti skipping inside, looking for the foul, and is going to get it, and that means that it's going to be down to Tunisia to fashion that one final chance for the breakthrough.
It's a silly one to give away. It's in a really dangerous area. Not really going anywhere. Hoylett just comes in. He's too keen to get a challenge in instead of just trying to move his feet. He plays for it for sure, but this is a chance to fizz one in from the right foot of Ismail Garbi. Canada a little deep. Can they get that line up 2 or 3 yards?
So many new faces on the pitch. One last chance to defend for Canada. Headed away by Russell Rowe. Ayari, can he put it into the box one more time? Miller sliding challenge. Marshall-Ruddy inside to Russell Rowe. Poor ball back, cut out by Chawat. And that's the referee's whistle on what ends a stubborn stalemate at BMO Field this evening. Canada with shots on target, but none that really troubled Muhim Chabak in goal for Tunisia. And Elias Saad will have nightmares of that first half chance that he could not convert, with Liam Miller heroically diving to deny